Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Almost Ahead of the Curve. I'm Ilaria, and with me is this guy.
That's right. Lotus Petals is back, and oh my god, Blizzcon!
There was a lot of information that we learned today and yesterday.
A lot? Try like a metric ton? I mean, a small country doesn't have enough time to process this. We gotta jam this into one podcast. Shit!
Yeah, so I think before anything, the opening ceremony happened, right? And we learned basically nothing until the very end of it, where we saw the cinematic, which was really awesome.
My nipples got incredibly hard.
Yeah, it was beautiful and amazing cinematic, but it's Blizzard, so even then, I would say it's maybe the best they've done since Wrath. It was really good.
I'm pretty sure they went and they said they haven't done a cinematic like that in a very long time, and especially since this is one that apparently you go from that cinematic right to gameplay.
Yeah, or I think they meant story-wise, not like... Right.
You know what? I'm just going to pretend that we go from that cinematic right into gameplay. Like I'm playing Final Fantasy.
It was really cool because there was the opening. It started with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And that was instant chills. So they know what they're doing.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, that happened. And then we got the amazing news. Summer 2016.
Now, before people start to freak out about that, please keep in mind that if you rush something that Blizzard does, you're going to get Warlords of Draenor. I don't think I can express that enough.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like,
I want a high-quality product at the end. I can deal with waiting. It's an incredibly long wait, but at the same time, this looks like it's going to be really good. Hopefully it's worth the wait. Only time is going to tell, of course. But, you know, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to keep my fanboy hat on, and hopefully it'll work out.
From what we saw, I think it might be worth the wait. But I said the same thing about Draenor. So
we did say that, yeah.
We'll find out. I'm very
Let's
optimistic.
be positive.
Yeah. So, starting the expansion. First thing you're going to do is there's going to be a 40-man intro scenario.
40-man.
You're going to start... It's 20 Alliance and 20 Horde. You start on the Broken Isles, and you push your way up into the Citadel to stop stuff, I think.
Well, isn't it the Tomb of Sargeras, like we're racing there to stop this breach or something?
Yeah, to stop the big hole in the sky that's letting the Legion invade.
Yes, the sky is falling, but we're going to stop it.
Maybe. They were kind of really secretive on any information about that.
Well, of course, they don't want us to know too much.
We know that a lot of major lore characters are probably going to die. And I think Metzen did say we succeed, but at a price, is what I think he said.
You know what? Anytime Metzen says anything, he's right. Speaking of which, did you hear the cheers for Metzen when he showed up at the last possible second?
He's fucking Chris Metzen. So.
Oh, yes.
Guy's, oh man, guy's great. But, I got the echo in your background again.
Oh no, not the echo.
Yeah, but no, he made a big deal about we're getting all of the fleets on both sides, we're teaming up, we're attacking head on. I'm sure that's gonna go perfectly. And then he gave the best face I've seen him ever pull.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a meme out there floating around somewhere. If anybody finds it, please put it in a comment below so I can send it to everyone I know.
So, we know that this event is going to change the worlds. I believe it's going to be kind of like, I think it's meant to be how the Cataclysm was meant to be, where, like, it happens and then the world is different. I don't think, he made a big deal of it. I don't think it was that big of a deal. Yeah, but we'll see. I think it'll be cool, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal gameplay-wise.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're going to get the park back or anything in Stormwind.
We'll get to that later when we talk about the Q&A. So, first thing we learned in the actual panel was stuff about Demon Hunters.
That super cool class that double jumps.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us some things from my amazing notes?
Oh, yes, these notes. And those of you who will be able to see these later, by the way, these are gold. These are pure comedy gold. So, one of the few things we know about Demon Hunters so far is that you're leveling up, learning intro zone thing. Starts at 98. It goes from 98 to 100. That's what we've been told thus
Mhm.
far. While you're doing that, you're going to learn exactly what it means to be a demon hunter, the sacrifices that they've made, exactly what the cost was to get the ridiculously cool powers they have.
Like their eyes.
Yes, I mean, their eyes are gone. That's why they have blindfolds. They'd be able to get true sight by removing their eyes, which are just a horrible nuisance, apparently. And of course, they're going to be killing demons like crazy, chopping them into bits. And what is this? I see BC, and then like an arrow and a Legion bridge for those characters.
Yeah, it's meant to
Your
be...
notes are amazing.
It's meant to be a bridge between BC, because that's when they got locked up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because you have a starting zone where you're on that mission for Illidan to go do something, you come back, and at that point, of course, Maeb's just like, whoa. Illidan's in jail, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
And then fades to black, and then all of a sudden you're awakened, and there's some reasons there that you find out.
Mm.
And that should be interesting.
Yep. What I thought was kind of cool is how you learn the abilities, though, is instead of like it was in the Death Knight one where you kind of just get a quest that gives it, you're actually going to be ripping it out of the demons.
That just sounds wonderfully fun. I mean, think about it. You're running around in a world inhabited by demons, which, by the way, you're in this world called Mardoom. In Mardoom, you're invading this demon world.
Yeah.
Sargeras shattered it or something. You look for a keystone, I think is the little thing there. And
eventually that's going to be the class hall.
Yes. There's also demons, new demons.
Yeah.
Something called an Imp Mother, a Jailer, Inquisitors. There's some beefed up old demons. Looks like they got, some steroids. And there's one that just looks completely amazing to me. I'm not even sure what it is, but I'll just put it this way. Like, if you ever saw, like, Mimi Bobek from the Drew Carey show, think of her in, like, a really skimpy bikini, but not as scary.
I think it was meant to look kind of like Gorking does in the new raid, but without the stomach.
Probably. All I know is it looks really strange.
Or Therazin.
I am completely okay with... Yeah, I guess it would be kind of like that. Yeah, I'm totally okay with destroying those and ripping powers out of it, because, I mean, I'm sure it's got some kind of cool power, right? It's that weird looking.
Oh, yeah. They float. That's
Yeah.
where you learn to double jump.
Oh my gosh, it makes sense. The other cool thing, though, is in that starting area, you're also going to get a sweet, sweet mount.
Yeah, there have been pictures of it. If I was a good editor, I would actually add pictures of certain things in here, and I might. But,
well, if you do that, that is completely up to you, because I just talk and you record me.
Yeah, so, if I don't, you can just go over to, MMO Champion. They have everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure MMO Champion was sitting there just going screenshot, the whole thing. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, they have every single panel, so...
Excellent. We could be using their notes instead.
It could be.
But these are better.
Exactly. I like mine better.
Yes.
So, yeah, I actually really like the mount. I know some people hate it, some people like it. We know that as a demon hunter after your intro, you are still Illidari, but you're also, Alliance Horde. It's same thing as Death Knights. And
sounds about right.
You get your artifact glaives pretty much right after you set up your class hall.
It's gonna be fun.
I don't have the thing open, but basically, I know the glaives for Havoc, you take it from another demon hunter that turned to demons and let their demon take over.
Yeah, he lost himself to the demons.
Yeah, so you rip it from him and keep his soul in there. It's pretty mean.
Hey, you know what? Demon hunters aren't supposed to be nice. They're supposed to kill demons.
That's fair.
It is fair.
So, yeah, there's that. And, yeah, that was all they gave us, really, for Demon Hunters to start out with. We'll get more into them later when we talk about today's stuff.
Definitely.
And then they talked about zones for a while.
Oh my god, so pretty.
Yeah, they're really pretty, and they're pretty cool. So anyway, and then they talked about Systems of Broken Eyes.
Yes. Yes, they did. There's a lot of stuff going on there, too. Because normally you walk into, your expansion, like, for instance, hey, we walked into Draenor. Guess what? You got 2 different starting areas. If you're Alliance or Horde, great. And then you just kind of make your way through very specific zones because it's level progression.
Mm.
And in Legion here, you can go any way you want. You get 4 different zones to run around in. You have to finish all 4, of course, but you get to pick which way you go. It's like one of those, choose your own adventure books, but a little bit better because, hey, I get to play World of Warcraft instead. And that's more fun than reading.
I was really on the fence about it because, I don't know, I like having a linear path, but I guess it's still a linear path. It's just a linear path that you choose. Plus, I mean, they say the drops will still scale, so you don't have to worry about, like, not doing any quests until 100.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad if they let that go, and I'm sure that's the first thing they thought of when they were looking at that system going, well, people wait.
So yeah, this is actually gonna skip ahead of my notes a little bit, but what's really cool about that is, well, first of all, they're gonna have, same non-leveling or non-scaling things that are always gonna be level 110. But what's really cool is the fact that it scales up to 110 means that every single area is a potential daily quest area.
That is really helpful because, as we all know from back in Pandaland, sometimes you just really didn't want to do dailies in, say, Dreadwaste because you hated Dreadwaste.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you won't have to. Hopefully. Unless that's the only place you can go, which I think they said it's, like, realm-specific is which dailies you get, but I'm sure you'll have some more variety.
Oh, it's region-specific, so...
Oh, it's region-specific. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, what do I know? I can't read notes.
Did I even have that in the notes?
No, I just wanted to see if you'd look.
Oh, it's in here somewhere.
I'm sure
but
it is.
Yeah, it's region-specific, so you can be with people on other servers, and you don't have to hop around servers looking for ones you like. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. They're trying to go with a mix, talking about dailies now, they're trying to go with a mix of the Miss Pandaria, like, story-based dailies, and the Draenor do whatever the fuck you want dailies.
Yeah, give yourself a little bit of freedom, but still have there be a reason you're doing this, where it's not just like, hey, go kill 5 of those things because I don't like them. It's, hey, go help with the war effort over here.
Yeah, and they made it very clear. What I thought was interesting, and I have no clue how they're going to do it, they want it to be something that you want to do, but it's not required to do.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, anyone who's been playing this game for a long time goes, okay, how do you do that?
Especially, yeah, as a raider, I'm sitting here going, you guys are fucking lying.
You're lying.
If it's worth doing, it's worth, like, spending your life on.
Oh, definitely, because, there's definitely no way at all that I sat there and did dailies in, Warlords purely because I needed those Apexis crystals so I could... Wait. That didn't matter. Never mind.
Oh, I think this is later on, actually. Never mind. No, it's not. Did I not? Okay. So, there's also going to be a new Dragonflight.
Oh, yeah, that's, super important. That was actually a little bit back there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
The purple Dragonflight. It's your favorite color.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually wrote it in here. Because I skipped over zones. No, yeah, it's a new flight. It's a fledgling flight. And it is the Storm Dragons.
Storm Dragons. Maybe they will have Elite Tauren Chieftain riding them on their backs.
Well, we also need Earth and Fire Dragons, but...
That's okay, we'll get them later.
Oh, good enough.
Then they can go to the Vault of Arcavian and get themselves an achievement. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah. So they, apparently there's going to be different quests and stuff, and they shuffle around, and there's different objectives. If you've played Diablo 3, it's bounties.
Literally bounties, yeah. That's what it looks like.
Because it looks like you do 5 objectives in whatever area you want. Some are PvP, some are PvE, some are minigames, I think they said.
Yeah, they said it's going to be a little different. They're not all going to be go kill things or, go pick up this item. I guess there could be, we could have Simon Says again, like in Ogre Law. I'd hate that, but,
yeah.
They could do that.
Or also ward bosses or profession-based. Mm-hmm. So you do 5 of them, and then you unlock a prize, basically.
Yeah, some sort of reward. They didn't give any details on that, but the placeholder looked like a cachet or something, which I'm sure it's going to be a box with something in it. They're pretty good at doing those right now, and those are super helpful, because, it could be anything. It's a box.
What's in the box?
Exactly. Hopefully there's a boat. I would love a boat.
But yeah, they're not technically going to be dailies.
Mm-hmm.
They said, I think they made a point that either these are garrison missions for players, or some of the missions in themselves will be garrison mission for players. I didn't really understand what they're talking about, but, whatever.
I think they were more going for the couple of guys that come into your class hall.
Oh,
and
right.
send you out on specific things. I think that is what that's referring to. I know that all the bounties and that, like, they're sort of dailies. It's more or less just world content for you to do. So you're not sitting there going, man, I wish I had some reason to leave my garrison.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Draenor had nothing until 6.2. It had, what, one daily, I think? Two?
It had a daily, and then you could purchase things in 6.1 to do extra dailies that cost you daily materials. God, it was weird.
Yeah, because if there's anything I want to do, it's spend money or garrison resources to do dailies.
To get more garrison resources. That sounds like you're double downing, and I don't like that.
You don't even get the same amount, I don't think. So,
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, that was that, and I think they talked a little bit more about it earlier today. We're still talking about Friday right now. But then they brought out, Ian Hostakosas. And this is where, like, he saved the panel because it was getting really boring.
They were like, oh no, world art.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the world and the zones. I didn't want to hear about it right then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's class changes I want to hear about. There's dungeons and raids. So, first of all, the raids. Emerald Nightmare and Suramar Palace will be our starting raids. We're going to go with the Draenor system, where a few weeks after release, we get Emerald Nightmare, and then a little bit later, we get Suramar Palace. I'm fine with that. I really liked it. It felt nice.
It was nice not to feel like I absolutely had to take off work to level up, which, you know, in some countries in the world you can do that. In the US, you're lucky if you can get a sick day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be super helpful for me because I'm going to look and go, sweet, I can level up. I'm still going to be leveled up as soon as I can be. That way we can run, you know, heroics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it should be all right. I think it's going to be a great way, and just having that little bit of gating is wonderful because it keeps the casual guilds able to still be casual guilds. You know, they don't have to jump right into raiding right away.
Plus, seeing how raiding and Cataclysm started out, where you had the 3 raids and you had to, you know, split progression evenly.
That was awful.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're spacing out the raids a little bit more. I actually really like it. So I know some people hate it. I really like it. It lets you progress in one guild or one raid, and then
yeah, I'm definitely completely okay with them saying, hey, here's the first 7 bosses, go in here, because there's a lot of story there as to why you're going there first, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of the coolest things there, of course, is the fact that, I mean, they mentioned the Emerald Dream.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that we're talking about the Emerald Dream is amazing.
I think we should talk about that. The Emerald Nightmare is actually going to be in the Emerald Dream.
Yes, I believe they said the first part of the raid we're like scaling the tree, and then we actually go into the dream.
Something like that. I don't remember exact details. I know that either in the tree or in the dream or not, we are going up the world tree at Saladrasil, the very first world tree.
Yes, the tree that I know nothing about. So I hope to fix that.
Don't worry. I'm pretty sure they made it up on the spot.
Oh,
so,
great.
And the first boss is actually really cool looking. They got new dragon models. And
yes.
So they were talking about how we haven't had a dragon boss in a while. So the very first boss is actually going to be a dragon, and it's a pestilence dragon.
Yes, technically a worm, I believe.
Well, yeah.
But the coolest thing there, though, I mean, like, and they said it there at the panel, was that, you know, you've got Draenor, which unfortunately in the lore, there's no dragons there.
Not
so they
later.
couldn't give us a single one.
Yeah.
In Warlords, which is super unfortunate because when I think of World of Warcraft, I think killing dragons.
I think the original box has you killing a dragon on the box. On the back.
Yes, it does. You are correct.
Oh my god, this dragon looks so cool. I think I am going to go ahead and throw pictures up.
Oh man, the editing time just went through the roof.
Oh man. But no, I think it's animated. It's kind of hard to tell, but they said like skin's dripping off of it, and you can see bones in places.
Yeah, it looks like it's. I think it said it's like the embodiment of literally, you know, pestilence and death.
Yeah.
And like when you look at this thing, you can see bones and like shreds of flesh hanging off of it. The scales are incredibly detailed in those sections that are like hanging from bone. It's a really cool looking dragon, even though it is, you know, dead.
I want one.
Sort of. You want one as a pet? I
I
knew
want
it.
one. And then they kind of threw a spoiler, I guess. It won't be, a spoiler for long, but Cenarius, due to his closeness to the dream, got corrupted by the nightmare.
Cenarius is evil? Oh,
Mhm.
shit.
And he also looks pretty cool.
He looks really interesting. I love how the nightmare looks. I was so glad they were able to give it a really cool visual effect. The
Mhm.
red and whatever else from that corruption is really sweet.
Yeah, if you want to check Skype, I'm sending you some of these links too.
Ooh,
That way you can see what they're going to see.
awesome.
Look at the professionalness. Oh, man.
I know.
So yeah, he's going to be evil. He's going to be a boss. They kind of hinted that we're not going to kill him. Doesn't surprise me. But then again, they said the same thing about Kargath, so...
That's very true. They did say that.
And then, Xavius, the, former High Elf who had magical eyes and was one of the first to get corrupted by Sargeras. He was one of the first satyr. And then he decided to not die ever, and he's been killed like 7 times.
Yeah, I don't know how he isn't dead.
If I remember, their wording was that lore-wise, he was dead, and then since he's a demon, Sargeras like, no, fuck you, you're coming back alive. So
Sargeras is the gatekeeper too? Jeez.
it's really cool though because if you look at him, his model has like tree-looking things because
He's
he's
got
in the nightmare.
he's got those crazy growths, and then I love the fact that his hooves have massive like spikes in them that are like driven in, like somebody drove nails into him to keep him in place or something.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
He's a very scary looking satyr. I've never seen anything that grotesque from a satyr.
Yeah, he got twisted a lot.
It's definitely a demon.
He also has a nail in his tongue.
Oh my, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it'd be hard to taste things like that.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
So then, there's also possibly a bear boss. If you look at the artifacts, it's actually the Nightmare boss. The Nightmare Bear Druid, I mean. Sorry?
Yeah, if you look at the artifacts, it's under Guardian Claws of Ursoc. That bear model is what we saw in the video.
Yeah.
That could be a bear boss. That could just be a random mob they decided to show us. That could be a bear druid they left sit there for no reason in the footage. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't really know. So that's in the air. So then, a little bit later, I'm guessing probably about the spacing between High Mall and Blackheart Foundry, maybe shorter, maybe longer. We get another raid. It's Suramar Palace. Tell us about Suramar Palace.
Well, Suramar Palace is a 10-boss raid. Suramar Palace is this grandiose, center of the Night Elf world there. We're talking this is high society. It's a really ritzy place. Gorgeous gardens, botanical gardens. Like, I'm sure there's libraries and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just all kinds of amazing looking things. The architecture looks amazing. And it turns out, believe it or not, this is Gul'dan's new house.
Yeah.
Apparently he's taken up residence. Don't know who he kicked out, but, well, actually I do, but we'll get there in a second.
Well, he's hanging out with that Nightborn now.
Yes, so there's the Nightborn there, which, that's what, corrupted Night Elves, basically?
They're not so much corrupted. They're like another evolution, but then they turned and helped the Legion recently.
Oh, right, they're Night Elves that have kind of strayed from the path.
Yeah, they
Right.
used the Nightwell.
Yes, the Nightwell, not the Lightwell, the Nightwell.
Not
Very
the
important
and not
distinction.
the Sunwell. Or
No.
the Moonwell.
Yeah, there's a lot of wells in this
Yeah.
lore, I'll tell you.
Darn elves.
So there's a bunch of bosses. We have no idea what they are. The only thing we really know is that we've got Gul'dan. There is going to be some Dreadlord boss in there. Apparently not too much of the Legion, though, here, which
Mhm.
isn't too surprising because this is the palace in the center of, the Echo Isles, or wherever it is we actually are. And then
Yeah.
you've got, there's the Grand Magistrix of the Nightborn, which is one of the most powerful mages ever. She apparently can control time. That's going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, just looking
Yeah.
at what she looks like and the fact that she's going to be able to manipulate time, I can only assume that on Mythic, that fight's going to be some crazy shit.
It's not even the last boss, though, so...
I know.
Yeah.
Because finally, at the end, who do we fight?
Gul'dan! We get to finally kill Gul'dan!
Gul'dan, round 12. Fight! That's
Let's
what
see.
it feels like.
To be fair, we've only actually faced them in a raid setting like 4 times.
Yes, only 4. It's a very important thing there. Only 4.
Maybe less, but somewhere around there. But no, it looks very pretty, and I don't know, Dreadlord fights are usually interesting at the very least.
If nothing else, we'll have some cool mechanics, some interesting abilities, and, hey, maybe we'll get something really awesome, like, the Dreadlord will be like, I choose you, Pikachu, and throw Pikachus at us or something. I don't know. We'll see what he does. I hope there's Pokeballs involved, though.
That is a really weird comment. Okay, so, Nexus Dungeons. They made a big deal that dungeons are the heart of the expansion. Said there's only going to be 10 of them.
At launch. 10 at launch.
10 at launch. It was actually less than I expected, because they made a big deal about, dungeons on dungeons. But it's still quite a bit of dungeons.
They let something slip during the Q&A.
What they let?
Well, as they're sitting there, and, Ian Haskasas is sitting there, and he says, what would you guys think of Karazhan as a 5-man in 7.1? And the one dude gave him a glare like, what are you doing? So, I don't know if there's any truth to that, if Ian's messing with us, or if that's true, but if that's the case, totally cool that I loved Kara. I would love to go back there. And we definitely would have a reason to with what we're dealing with and knowing what we know now about, Medivh and everything else.
Yeah, they did hint a lot that Karazhan's going to be important.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a total of 10 dungeons. There's 5 that are quote-unquote specifically for leveling. And then there's another 5 once you get up to max level.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look really cool. Really cool.
It is worth noting that 10 dungeons is the same amount we had in Cataclysm. And more than Mist or Draenor by 3 and 4. 4 and 3, respectively.
Yeah. And I'm actually very glad to see 10 dungeons at launch, because with them wanting them to be the heart of the expansion, you definitely can't go and give us, 7 total dungeons and expect us to do much with them for long. They're going to get boring.
So, the first dungeon we get is Eye of Ashara. It's one of the level up. The first 5 we're going to talk about are going to be leveled up. Eye of Ashara, they didn't really tell us anything about it. I think it's in, something. Azuna. I think that's where it is.
Oh, yeah, the Azuna zone? That makes sense.
I think that's where it was. Then we have Neltharion's Lair, which is somewhere.
That's in High Mountain.
High Mountain, right. It's Deathwing's lair before he was Deathwing, but what's interesting about that is that's also where he went insane. So we don't know much about it, but we might see old gods in there.
The other thing they did mention is that if we see Wraithia in this expansion, what they said it's very possible we could, he's probably interested in Neltharion's lair.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens there. They didn't show any pictures, though, so...
Yeah, I think they said there's a couple of them they have very well fleshed out, and then a couple more that they're not ready to show us yet.
Yeah. Then we have House of Valor, and they have said, I quote, "This is the greatest instance we've ever made."
Yeah, when you have a design team telling you that, one of 2 things is true. Either it is truly this amazing thing, or they got really high and thought it was great and forgot about it for 2 months.
Yeah, that or it's like the guy with the zones, where every single zone was his favorite.
Yeah, that was
kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, he really loves his art, and I can't blame him. The stuff is gorgeous.
So, yeah, Hall's Valor, it's going to be based around Valhalla. You actually have to prove your worth to Odin by beating up people and then killing the God King.
Yes, that's going to be cool.
And then when you prove your, worth, you get your lore item thing.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I'm super excited to go to Valhalla, not literally, just in the game.
Yeah, it looks really cool, actually. They showed pictures, and it looks like a better-looking Skyreach, and Skyreach was already pretty.
Yeah, Skyreach was really pretty. I'm just tired of Arakoa.
Yeah, now we get to fight Valkyr instead.
Yes! The Darkheart Thicket.
That was really cool. So, Darkheart Thicket is basically the forest of the World Tree. It's going to be heavily corrupted. And we have to rescue something.
Yeah, it's this rescue mission, and it's literally the heart of the corruption in the area. I'm assuming that's where we realize that we need to go into the dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming this is probably where we get some of the direction in the lore and everything else in the storyline to push us towards the tree.
Then we're going to have Violet Hold. They made it very clear at Gamescom. They didn't say much here, but at Gamescom it's going to be extremely different, and apparently moving around or something accidentally something into existence or release the really dangerous things.
Yeah, something about, granted, whenever you move something from, they literally grabbed Dalaran, shifted it from Northrend the whole way down to the Echo Isles, and from literally out of nowhere, just boom, teleporting. I'm pretty sure if I moved that far that quick, something of mine would probably shift a little bit too, so I'll forgive the Dalaran mages for that.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Like, maybe it's like the book when someone blinked into another person.
Oh, that's scary.
Or the time, apparently, there's a little book, if you guys don't know, in Dalaran. It's like the dangers of blinking. It's like
that was a hilarious read.
Blinking and teleporting, and like don't like accidentally blink into a watermelon. So yeah, now I've been something like that where they blinked somewhere, they blinked the whole town, and then like, oh whoops, we accidentally lost half the sewers.
Yeah,
oh
that would be
shit!
unfortunate.
Look what we woke up. Actually, we'll talk about that when we go to artifacts, but war-wise, it makes even more sense because we end up getting Eppenshiel, which is locked up down there.
True. That's very true.
Yeah. But yeah, they wanted all the level up dungeons to have a very strong story interaction. They say that every single time. Sometimes they hit it, sometimes they don't. Mm-hmm. But they say they want it to be much stronger than just like a dungeon that kind of happens. They want it to be like, it leads you to it. I think they did have Cataclysm really well, actually.
Yeah, actually, the dungeons in Cata, I really felt like I needed to go to, what was that first one? Blackrock something? The one with Finkel.
Yeah,
you had to run in there. I honestly forget what the place is called, but
Blackrock Depths, maybe?
No, Blackrock Depths was the level 50 one.
Oh, that's right.
I honestly forget what it is, but anyway, that dungeon, I felt like I had to go there because this gnome sent me there from Highjaw. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't argue with a gnome in a scuba suit. You just can't.
What patch added the revamped ZG?
Oh, God. I'd assume that would be, 5 point something?
Oh, 5.2. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you don't know, there's a quest line in Stranglethorn where you like get this little raptor, and you like help him grow and grow and grow, and then eventually Bloodlord Malakir like takes him from you.
Oh no.
And then you try and take him back, and like he slaps you away and takes him and then tortures the raptor, and you don't hear about it again until level 95? No, 90. Yeah, level 90. And that's whenever it leads up into ZG. And that was brilliant. If they do something like that, I would love that, because
why would you tell me something so heartbreaking?
Because then you go back and you save him and you get him back.
And it would be level 85, that was Cataclysm.
No, it was 90. Pretty sure it was 90.
No.
Was it not?
No, we were 90 in Pandaria.
I know. 5.2. That's Throne of Thunder.
Oh. Wait, was ZG in Throne of Thunder? No, it wasn't.
I thought it was. The remake?
That was back in Cataclysm.
Because I remember they did the... It was Cataclysm. Wow, I am dumb.
I was sitting here confused. I'm like, what are you doing?
Whatever.
And this is level professionalism that almost ahead of the curve always gives to you.
So they also said you can do them in any order. My notes have a duh, because I do them in any order anyway, but I think what they meant was like story-wise, like it matches up for... Like, if you do this place first, you can go into it first. I don't know. They kind of made it sound like they're going to be locking the dungeons away behind questing.
Which, I don't like that idea, but I'm also okay with it.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out, because it's something that will be really interesting to see how they integrate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the thing that's really great, though, is that, you can do the zones in any order, which means you can do these runs in any order. So it's going to be fun.
Yep. And then we have 5 max level dungeons.
These get interesting.
Really fast.
Yes. So the Vault of the Wardens. From what I understand, the Vault of the Wardens is where you pop out of as a demon hunter when you wake up after the first part of your intro quest.
Yes.
So you have to go back there for some reason. I'm assuming there's something there that got out that you have to deal with.
Or we learn more about why Gul'dan went in there and something like that. I don't know. They didn't really speak much of it, but
it actually didn't give us too much info on it. They just said it'd be really fun, and there'd be a lot of fun lore in there.
Yeah, that's because they went straight into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Which, oh my god.
Oh, you're excited about Blackrock Hold?
Blackrock Hold? The next two, both of them. But tell us about Blackrock Hold.
Well, Blackrock Hold is an ancient elven stronghold. It's supposed to be there, to hold back the Legion, and unfortunately, it failed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll let you take over from there, because this is actually where I went to go to the bathroom.
Okay, so, you beat up Lord Ravencrest in that, which is, for lore nerds, that's a big deal. But, then we get Helheim. Oh my god. You saw Helheim, right?
Yes, I needed to change pants very quickly afterwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna eventually, I'm gonna throw up pictures of Helheim, because they're like, this is the grim rail of boats, and I was like, oh god, no. But then they showed it, and I was just like, oh my god, I need this.
I need that in my life. I mean, you're on a cursed ship to the damned. You're supposed to be safeguarding cargo. You confront a fallen Valkyr queen.
Yeah.
As apparently we're with fallen souls.
We're with them. Because what happens is if you remember in Wrath, the Valkyr would judge people.
Right.
This is where the people who are judged as wanting go, instead of
right. We're riding the boat to hell on the river Styx.
Yeah, literally.
That is awesome premise-wise, and it looks amazing.
It is so cool. And then we got the two Suramar dungeons. We didn't learn much. We know that, I think they didn't give us any pictures. But, you got the Noble District, which we don't know much.
Apparently, what they told us was we're going to be, crashing a party or something, and they said this is going to be a dungeon like we've never done before.
Yeah, and they made it very clear there's going to be some really interesting things in it.
Which is either one of those things where either it's going to be a wonderful experience or we're going to think it's Oculus.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm okay with either, because anything to break up the monotony is fine. I can only imagine what's going to happen when we try to run these on harder difficulties.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a moment. And then finally, you got the Suramar catacombs. We can't go in the front door, so we're looking for another way in. We're Black Templing it. Basically.
Yeah, and realistically, there was no information about it at all. They're just like, yeah, but this is here. We just don't have anything for you yet.
Yeah, this is how you're going to get in there. We'll talk about it later. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we're cool with that. We can wait.
So then we get to dungeons as in the game.
You should elaborate.
Oh my god. This is where it got really cool. Really fast.
Is this where the crowd started to react, a lot? There were lots of oohs and yeahs and what?
So, okay. They want dungeons to be worthwhile. We have literally heard this every single BlizzCon forever. In terms of rewards versus difficulty, they want it to be worth. They don't want it to be, it's really easy, but you get really good rewards. Or how Valor used to work, basically. Or, it's really bad rewards, but it's really good, really hard difficulty, like Cataclysm Heroics.
Basically what they're trying to do is find a nice little variation between Loot Pinata and, Cataclysm Heroics before they fix things.
Mm-hmm. And they also want there to be more variation while you're doing these 10 instances. Because they brought up the Mechanar issue, which, if you played in PC, I know you did, Lotus.
Yes, extensively did I spend time in Mechanar for dailies.
Yeah, so first of all, you needed rep for,
Shatar at that point.
Shatar, yeah, that's who it is. You needed rep for Shatar, and every once in a while you get a quest to go to one of those 3 instances. And you would always go to Mechanar, because Mechanar was half hour, maybe? It was super easy to do, super quick, there's barely any trash.
Yep. As opposed to the Botanica, which was a never-ending train of why is there so many mobs here? or the Arcatraz, which was just obscenely hard for no reason and just not fun.
Yeah, well, it had reason. It was supposed to be an extra tier, so like a tier above.
It didn't work that way.
No, it didn't. So what they're adding is, quote, the Legion Challenge mode, which I am rewording to the Mythic Challenge mode, or Challenge Mythic mode. Basically, it's a mix between the two, kind of. Or, actually, no, I'll explain the details, and then we can compare it to the very obvious. You get a keystone, right? And it randomly points to a dungeon, which scales up with your gear. Kind of. It doesn't scale up instantly, it scales up as you do them.
Mm-hmm.
They have a chance for modifiers, which I believe they said was a weekly thing, or is it on a keystone thing?
I believe they said it was on the keystone, and everyone's going to have them in the same. It's going to be the same on the region every week, from what I understand.
And then they made it like some of the modifiers include extra enemies, or an overall dot damage on everyone, or mobs explode when they die.
Yes, that one there specifically, I loved it because I saw anytime mobs get to 30% or lower, they're just going to AoE pulse until they die. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we can't just rapidly chain pull everything and expect to live.
It wasn't, they made a point they don't want it to just be about rushing through it as fast as possible. And my instant reaction was, what? You're putting a timer and you're gonna, no, there's no way. But then they showed some of the modifiers, and like they had that one, the exploding mobs. I think exploding mobs was if they die they explode. The one you're thinking of, the one you're thinking of is they get under 30%, they do double damage.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so you can't just grab a whole bunch and then AoE them down. And every time they get extra health, they get extra damage. So you clear it, and they said the timer will be more lenient than silver is now in challenge mode, so pretty lenient. But each time you finish it and you complete it in the time limit, your keystone gets upgraded to a higher keystone. So you start at 1, and you can go up to 2 or 3 or
whatever the level
60.
actually is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if you can skip levels or not. You probably can, depending on how fast you go. And each time it upgrades, the dungeon gets harder. It scales up, and it picks a new dungeon. So you're not just running the same dungeon over and over.
And what they did say is that the keystone, whoever has the keystone, there's only one person putting up the keystone at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everyone's keystones will always be pointing to the same instance at that level.
Yeah. So, and I think that changes every week. So.
Yes.
But what's really cool about this, is again, you always go up. If you fail the timer, you still get the loot for that level, but your keystone is destroyed. So,
yes, it loses all its power.
For anyone, and you gotta get the highest level that week. Like, the higher level you get the biggest reward at the end of the week, I think they said.
Yes, the higher levels you get to, the better rewards you get at the end of the week.
So, Lotus.
Yes.
What does this sound like to you?
You know, as someone who's played a lot of games in my past, I would probably take a gander into the realm of... Is this Diablo 3?
It is Greater Rifts in WoW. And I'm okay with this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the Greater Rifts were actually one of the few things in Diablo 3 that made me want to sit there and continue playing it, because it gave me a leaderboard to look at, it gave me a timer, it gave me a legitimate challenge too, which is something that 5-man content has been lacking forever.
Yeah, like challenge modes are there and they're fun, but I mean, you still have to get a group that's extremely dedicated for it. You have to get very specific gear.
Yes, it's literally just, it's too specific, and I mean, there are literally guys written out there that just say, okay, you get this class, this class, this class, this class, this tank, and you can run through using CC on these specific mobs as you run through. You can't die.
Yeah, and this might still be like that, but I like the idea of, for instance, I could be on my hunter right now. My hunter is 726.
Yep.
And I could be with a guild group, and we'd get really high, and we'd start getting gear that is equivalent to mythic gear. Because they made a very big point about that. They wanted to try and make it a genuine alternative to raiding. So it's not like if you're doing the lower level ones, it's if you're doing the high end shit, like the stuff that actually takes a lot of skill.
The stuff that's going to require you to actually have a good bit of gear know your class very, very well, be able to adapt to the timers, adapt to the mods, everything else. I mean, obviously, if you get up there, they want you to feel like you've been rewarded.
Yeah.
And, I mean, whenever we see this, I'm sure we're all either going to look at it and go, this is amazing, or we're going to look at it and go, oh my god, it's freaking amazing, because there's honestly no way they can make that bad.
Well.
Listen, I'm being positive.
Oh yeah, no, my only downside to it is I hope it's either not super mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's gonna be, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But what I mean is, like, you have to do this while also rating, and you have to do lots of them. I hope that's not a thing, but even if it is, like I said, I'll enjoy it for a while. And also, the rewards have to be good enough. So, I don't know, it'll be really interesting, and I'm really excited for it. I really am.
I'm sure they'll be able to find that happy medium between, with rating, you're always going to have specific trinkets and tier sets, I'd assume. And I can only guess that you wouldn't be getting tier sets out of these 5-mans. Unless, of course, they're actually, balanced and
no, they did.
Mind.
They did bring that up. There will not be tier sets from it.
Okay, then either way, you're going to have to raid to get your tier sets. And that's good. I think that's going to keep people happy and assuming that it is a true alternative.
Mm-hmm. You won't be able to do it through looking for group, but I mean, you can do it through looking for group. But you can't do it through the dungeon finder.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I'd want to do these with random people if I'm putting up my stone.
No. Okay.
So that's pretty much day one.
Yeah, that was day one. We didn't get that much information. We did, but it was mostly foundation information. It wasn't actually game system things, except for the, extremely obvious.
Yes.
And then also we got some extra screenshots after the fact, which I will show some of them. We got to see the Warlock Mythic tier for the first tier set.
I actually didn't see that.
Well, there it is.
Ooh.
They also showed the Rogue.
Oh, wow, that Warlock set is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's on a human, so I'll show everyone that. There's the Rogue set.
Oh my god, I'm playing Rogue. I'm totally playing Rogue. Calling it here, guys. Playing Rogue.
Pretty cool. They also showed some alternate to both of those. So,
I actually didn't see those. I don't know why I didn't.
It was on Immo Champion. That's right.
Okay.
So, yeah, day one. Pretty darn cool. So, to finish off day one, they also revealed the artifacts for every class and spec.
That was amazing. I did not expect that kind of information before the following day when they were actually talking about things.
And tomorrow we're apparently going to get a lot of the class changes that we didn't get already.
Yes, which I think is probably the best way for them to do that, because for them to go and present them all to us on stage, a ton of stuff's going to get misspoken about, or potentially get the wrong things. At least here they can proofread everything and make sure they get all the right stuff there.
So, finishing up day one, let's talk about artifacts. Every class gets 3. Some get 4. Some get 2. I completely lied about every class getting 3.
Better way to state that, every spec gets 1 unique to the spec.
There we go. Well, no, because some get 2.
Shh.
Every class gets some artifact weapons. And, yeah, so we're just going to talk about our favorites, talk about why. Favorites. Because it's our show, damn it, and we'll talk about what we want.
Yeah, I think we're limiting ourselves to basically 3 classes or so, because there's just way too much information, and I picked my 3 favorite classes, which anyone who has listened to me talk about anything knows I love monks and rogues.
I picked 2 of my favorite classes, and then a class that I don't really care about, but the weapons look cool.
Yeah, the third one I picked was Druid, because I figured, hey, you know what, let's just go with all the leather. Plus, I really think the Druid stuff's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what's your first class? What are their weapons, and why do you love them?
Well, first thing I'm going to bring up is the Rogue. The Rogue is the coolest badass ever. You get to stealth, you get to steal shit, you get to stabby stab.
There's no bias there at all.
What's that? No bias? None, not at all. I actually made a Rogue for the bulk of this expansion. I'm actually back to it now that I'm done tanking for a Friends Guild. The one thing that I wanted to see from our changes in that was something about the specs, and hopefully there'd be some variation. And they actually did change one of the Rogue specs' names. Combat is no longer Combat, it's called Outlaw instead. which is really cool because it makes perfect sense when you read the lore behind the weapon they got, which are the Dreadblades, Fate and Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Admiral Eliza Goreblade. She discovered a pair of ornately crafted cutlasses that were from a wreck not far from Booty Bay. Apparently, no one has any idea where they came from, but they're apparently cursed, and that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
They look amazing. They're super, super ornate, and they're really, really big. So they scream combat rogue, but it's now outlaw instead. The one I'm super excited about, though, that just, gets me super, super happy, is the assassination weapons. Anguish and Sorrow. Anyone who knows their lore knows those are Garona's daggers.
Mm-hmm.
That scares me a lot.
Well,
but the thing to keep in mind here is that she used these things to do quite a few things for Gul'dan, like kill King Lane.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe these are actually the daggers of current time Garona, not Draenor Garona.
I believe so, yeah, because it is alternate universe stuff there.
Yeah, they made a big. Actually, if you read the thing, it actually does say it was hidden by what's her face, who also took care of, fucking Medivh kid that no one liked. That guy, yeah.
Oh, okay, but yeah, I mean, the really cool thing is that.
Oh yeah.
It looks like she used them to carry out countless atrocities under Gul'dan's control, killing King Lane. Afterwards, apparently in anguish, she asked a trusted ally, Meryl Winterstorm, to help her hide the blades in the hopes that they'd never be used again. So, I think it goes to say that you're probably going to go find Meryl Winterstorm and say, yo, where are the daggers at?
Yep, and I showed a link of what they look like, and all the different variations.
The last one is their Subtlety. Subtlety is getting a massive overhaul. What I think they said is that you're going to feel like a goddamn ninja jumping around. Shadow Strike is apparently a thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for beta.
Yeah.
But they are the Fangs of the Devourer. They are Gormal the Devourer was Sargeras' personal hound. He apparently ate countless people before he was eventually ambushed and killed on another world long, long, long ago. It looks like someone called Mephistroph had its fangs crafted into two incredibly powerful daggers that actually still have the withering essence of Gormal in them. And they were eventually given to Akari, one of Sargeras' most deadly assassins, who I'm assuming we steal them from because it says in the thing here on the little blurb that it's who wields them to this day. So I think that might be a little bit of a preview as to how we get those.
Yeah, and I linked to you what that dagger looks like.
Oh, and it's wonderful looking. It's super, super cool.
And I believe this is the, I think right there, that is the outlaw weapon.
Yes.
Which I'm showing you now. I'll show them before.
Yeah, it'll be linked around now in the video, hopefully.
So
yes, the outlaw sword looks super, super cool.
Yeah, and the what's worth noting about these is every one of these, you get the base one, then at 110 you get a upgraded form of it, an upgraded model.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, with the Fate and
Fortune on the outlaw sword.
Yeah, they get black blades and smoke coming off.
Ooh.
Garona's blade has a little vial of blood hanging from the chain at the end.
Yeah, it's either that, it's either blood or poison. I don't really care which it is. It's really sweet.
And then the daggers that you get for subtlety are purple. Purple magic teeth.
Ooh, magic teeth that are purple.
Pretty cool.
Seems sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you like? What do you think is really awesome?
So I'm going to start with the one that I think is not fair. Death Knights have great weapons.
Yes.
They got blood, which is Maul the Damned. It's a cool ass mace. It was made by the Legion to drain vital energies, and it has its original owner in it. So, yeah. Or it's an axe. I thought it was a mace. Well, whatever. It's really cool. So, it has always made the demons who wielded it extremely powerful. So, you get it, and yeah. Pretty darn cool.
That sounds pretty amazing. I'm pretty sure that Breach's video he put up, he mentions that that's the one that he looks at and he's just like, this is sick. And the graphic is truly amazing looking. Yeah,
because you get the red lines going into it and stuff.
Oh, most definitely.
I'll probably try and actually put the animated thing in that because you got to see that. And then Frost get Icebringer and Frost gets Icebringer and Frost Reaper. I can talk. It is literally the reforged Frostmourne. And then you empower it, so it's even stronger.
The thing that's interesting about that is that they say there in the thing that the shards can be recrafted and infused with more power. It says, however, the spirits still trapped within must first be subdued and bent back to the wielder's will.
Yeah,
that makes me feel like I'm going to be oppressing some people with that. I don't know if I like that.
Oh man, that's cool. I think it's going to be kind of like. I hope it's like the Warlock scythe, which we'll talk about later when we talk about what artifacts actually can do. But I think that's pretty cool. Even so, it's pretty metal.
The whole Death Knight class's weapons are extremely metal. That being said, they're not too stunning visually, though.
I think I like it. I like the more straightforward weapon look to it. I don't know. That's just who I am, though. But no, yeah, like you're saying, the souls in there, it's because not all the souls were freed from Frostmourne.
Yes.
So, and then finally, you have a two-handed sword made by the Nazarene, and it brings with it violence, plagues, and death.
Yeah, what's it called?
Apocalypse.
Simply Apocalypse.
Oh, man. It was Dark Riders or Servants of Medieval? Weird. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Dark Riders always were.
They weren't always, but he turned them into them. I forgot about that. Sorry. Lore break on me. But apparently the blade is somewhere in the catacombs of Karazhan.
Yes, which apparently none of us have found in the couple expansions that have been there.
Some of us have.
Oh, okay.
The crypts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that is true.
So that's, I don't know, I just really like the looks of them. I like the highly detailed, mostly normal looking blade look to them. Except for Apocalypse, which you can see the runes popping out of it, which is so cool.
Stuff looks really awesome.
Mm-hmm. So what's your second favorite?
Well, I gotta go to the Monk. The Monk is, of course, the class that I played probably more than I should have this expansion.
Yeah.
And, of course, it being Monk, a lot of this stuff has a lot to do with Pandaria. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is the Brewmaster Staff. It is Fuzan, the Wanderer's Companion. It's a traditional Brewmaster Staff with, looks like a pint, actually, attached to the one that the animated character is holding, which is awesome. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that the Titanic Keeper Freya set out to populate the world with life, and she placed one of the first seeds in Pandaria. From it grew Fuzan, the first of all of Pandaria's forests. So before populating the rest of Azeroth, Freya fashioned a walking stick for her travels from one of the tree's branches, and eventually this staff got passed down to Yuan, who later gave it to a clever Hosen, the Monkey King, as he was called.
Oh yeah, the Monkey King.
The Monkey King put one of his most prized possessions, hung his most prized possessions from the staff, which he apparently carries with him to this day. So I guess brewmasters get to go beat up a Hosen King. That seems pretty cool.
Specifically, the Monkey King, who was, what's his name?
I actually don't know the Monkey King.
Xiaohao. Xiaohao. It was, Xiaohao's friend.
Oh, right. Right. I guess,
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to see that then. Mistweavers get, Shaylun, the Staff of Mists.
I linked them all to you. So you can see all the versions. I linked them to you so you can see all.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, the Mistweaver staff is Shaylun, the Staff of the Mists. I'm probably mispronouncing it. I'm sure someone won't correct me. And it looks as though a prophecy arose that the Ruthless Legion would eventually invade the worlds of Azeroth and leave it shattered. And to save his people, Emperor Xiaohao embarked on a series of trials, taking with him the ancient staff to Shaylun. Afterwards, he used his newfound wisdom to become part of the land, which is why you can't find the Emperor anywhere. Mm-hmm. He made Pandaria into a separate continent enshrouded in mists, which is why it was Mists of Pandaria. His staff clattered to the ground, where it lay until the monks of Tian Monastery found it and took it to the Terrace of Endless Spring for safekeeping. So I think it's safe to say that that's where we're going to be going for it.
Oh yeah, what's really cool is if you look at all the versions of it, they all have some kind of sound thing in the middle, some kind of bell.
Yeah, I saw that. There's some kind of musical something there, a gong,
Wind
some
chimes.
chimes, and I don't know what the Sha one is, but I'm sure it's something that's going to make really cool noises.
Or really creepy noises.
Actually, that might be more interesting.
Yeah.
And then for Windwalkers get one of the coolest named things ever. They get to wield fist weapons called the Fists of the Heavens. Now, if that just isn't cool, I don't know what is. I mean, they get to yell Fist of the Heavens all they want. It says thousands of years ago, the famed Tolvir smith Irmat created a pair of magnificent hand blades. But he was unsatisfied with his work, so he tried to capture the essence of Alakir the Windlord to infuse his blades. Alakir was not amused. And despite the smith, Alakir poured unspeakable amounts of raw elemental fury into these hand blades. And then when Irmat attempted to unleash their might, a vortex sprang up, engulfed his city, and scattered the weapons to the winds. So I'm assuming this is what was actually surrounding the lost city of Tolvir.
Oh, yeah.
I believe this is what actually was messing with that. So I'm guessing that's probably where we'll end up going, is to the lost Tolvir city.
Or just Doom in general, because they said scattered them to the winds, so...
Yes.
You might go with Harrison Jones.
Oh, that'd be really cool if Harrison Jones was involved in getting them for you. I'd be completely okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other cool thing to mention here is that these are fist weapons for a monk. So monks get fist weapons, which is great, because there's not many classes that can use them and not look silly. Monks typically don't use their weapons anyway. So it's going to look really, really cool. I'm very happy to see that that they're going to a zone from Cataclysm for something and not just going to be in Pandaria the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So, going to my second, and actually currently my favorite class, we have Hunters, who, they get a gun as Beastmaster, they get a bow as Marksman, and the Survival gets a staff.
Ooh.
A polearm. When you look at the site, the gun for Beastmaster, I'm actually not a big fan of at all. But they have, on MMO Champion, and I'll show everyone, it shows more of the different guns there can be, and they actually look pretty cool. So, basically, Mimron made a gun, and put a relic in there. And eventually, I guess we go in there. No, sorry. It was made for Thorum.
Oh.
And I guess we're going to go into the mountains and get it. So that's cool.
It's a very interesting place to go.
Yeah, into the mountains.
I remember you from the mountain.
I really don't care that much about the gun. Like I said, it's kind of eh. But what I do love so much is actually the bow. We get Illyria's bow, Lyra Windrunner, who has been missing forever. Apparently she comes back just in time to give her bow. And some of the different versions of it look so cool. Like there's the normal one, the upgraded one, which, are generic Blood Elf bows. But then, there's a hawk one, there's a crossbow version of it, because I guess you decide to stick a stick on it.
Something, yeah. I'm not really sure how it ends up being a crossbow, but hey, whatever works.
Yeah. And there's also a phoenix one that has, actual fire coming off.
That looks amazing.
Real quick, I'm going to link that to you, because it also has the glaives for Demon Hunter, which make me want to talk about Demon Hunters. But I'm not. I'm going to hold off.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. There's not a whole lot to the lore other than Illyria's bow. I guess that makes it powerful.
It definitely does.
And then finally, Survival get a High Mountain Tauren Spear, which predates the first demonic invasion. Oh, wow, it's before War of the Ancients.
That's a really old spear.
Yeah, it's Talon-Claw, Spear of the Wild Gods. Wow, that's a long name. They fought alongside many of the guardian animal spirits, also known as ancients. To defend it, blah blah, has been bestowed. Oh, lots of ancients bestowed the weapons. Oh, cool.
Yeah, the thing I saw about that, whenever I heard them talk about how Survival's now going to be the spec where, you're a melee hunter, and they said Raptor Strike is coming back, and I started to get off my seat, and they're like, oh, and Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite. I'm like, yes, continue. And then they went, they're like, oh, and you're going to be fighting right there alongside your pet. I'm just like, and I almost fell out of my chair. It was wonderful.
It actually has some really cool looks to it. Like, I like the wolf-looking one, but I'm not probably, well, can't say I'm not, but I'm probably not going to be playing Survival Hunter. Because if I can play melee, I'll probably be on a Demon Hunter.
Yeah, I can definitely believe it. They're going to have to do something really, really amazing with survival for it to be worth people literally shifting from a range to a melee, considering we're already typically so heavy on melee.
One thing they didn't talk about today, though, which is cool about survival, and this spear in particular, we'll be able to throw it like a harpoon and chug, like slam people to us.
Yeah, they did say that we're going to have a scorpion get over here.
Oh man, that's going to be cool.
That's wonderful, because there are times when people just really need a death grip, and, you know, if hunters can also fill that role, that's going to be really great, especially in PvP.
Mm-hmm. So then last but not least, what's your third favorite?
Well, I already said I was doing all the leather. So I went rogue, I went monk, now we're going druid. I'm ignoring demon hunter because they're demon hunters.
Mm-hmm.
So druids get 4, so I get to cheat and have a 4th. Yes.
And
the really cool thing about the weapons for druid is they're very non-traditional for a druid. At least most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Balanced Druids get the Scythe of Elune, which for anyone who's done any looking into the Scythe of Elune since they spoiled it yesterday, it was an artifact created a millennia ago from the Staff of Elune and a fang from the wolf demigod Goldrin. The Scythe of Elune carries a long and unsettling history for druids. Apparently you can drive them pretty crazy because there's so much power in this.
Yeah.
And so much power infused into it. It's apparently tied to the origin of the Worgen on Azeroth, which
I was going to say, it's what created the first Worgen.
Yes, because something, too much lunar power. And the thing that's really crazy is that I'm sitting here reading it, it says the Scythe is said to possess untold lunar power for the druid with balance enough to keep it in control. Which, oh man, they threw a pun into the description, but the weapon itself looks really awesome. There's no way you can argue with how great this weapon looks on a druid, and the couple things we saw about, especially the new Moonkin form, the little bit we saw, that little spoiler we saw for that, it's going to look really great.
Yeah, which I will show on the screen.
Yes!
I'm going to be on top of this. And if I end up not being on top of this, everyone, be sure to throw all your hate at Lotus.
Yeah, obviously it's my fault.
Yeah.
So Feral gets the fangs of, it's Ashamain, I think. It's the massive Grey Panther, Ashamain. One of the first wild gods, was one of many to answer the call to the demigod Cenarius to defend the world of Azeroth during the War of the Ancients. She apparently fell in battle against the Legion, but she saved a countless number of lives in the process.
Yay.
A great shrine was built in her honor in Val'Sharah, and her fangs were adorned and put on display there. Apparently, those fangs still carry much of her power, and the best part about this is that you have your base druid, and your druid's actually going to have 2 daggers. So, druid dual wielding. Okay, that's unusual.
Pretty good.
When they go cat form, though, oh my god, did the world go insane at Gamescom when they showed that.
Yeah, which I would put pictures of, but there's not only no champion, so we'll see.
Yeah, there's one up here on the official Blizzard site, which I believe has the baseline form, I think? I actually don't know. I mean, it looks similar to the daggers they have there, so we'll run with that.
Yeah.
It looks really awesome. I'm super, super stoked to see all the really cool kitties, because they look really great. The third spec, of course, Guardian. You got the claws of Ursoc. They were forged from Titan steel by the Titanic Watcher Keeper Freya. These claws were her gift to the Great Bear Ursoc, one of the wild gods, which, if you wander around the Grizzly Hills, you can actually communicate with. He wielded the claws in countless battles until his death during the War of the Ancients. Although his body faded away, the claws remained, and legends say a fragment of his spirit lingers within them. After wresting the claws away from Ursoc's Furbolg followers, a band of druids took the claws to the Emerald Dream, sought out Ursoc's spirit, and returned the claws to him for safekeeping. Now that being said, I guess our druids, our Guardian, are going to go to the Dream.
And have a bitch fight with Ursoc.
That is going to be hilarious, because it's going to be bear-on-bear action. That sounds like something you'd need, like, I don't know, at least $45 in a skeezy hotel room to watch. But
I was gonna say it sounds like something off the Discovery Channel, but
hey, same thing,
different people.
Yeah. And then the very last one is, of course, Resto. They get Gahanir, the Mother Tree. It's the staff is literally a single branch taken from Gahanir, which was the first tree. Was gifted to mortal druids by the demigod Aviana long, long ago. Its connection to the Emerald Dream serves as healing and stabilizing influence in Azeroth. In recent times, apparently druids have used the staff to hold back the corruption and madness of the Nightmare. And as a result, satyrs within the Nightmare were desperate to see Gahanir destroyed. So I can only assume that something happens and the satyrs get it and you have to go get it back.
That or you have to protect it from them.
Yes, maybe just have to heal the staff with enough hots until it just says, I'm good, guys, I can tank anything.
Yeah, something like that.
Very well could happen.
So then, finally, my last favorites, which I'd like more than Hunter, but, Warlocks. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Warlocks got really spoiled on these, and I'll be completely honest, they needed some love.
So, Affliction get a scythe. Basically, it was a scythe that Sargeras gave a guy.
By the name of Satiel.
Yeah, and it grows in power the more souls are drained. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It got its name because it actually is the reason that Deadwind Pass is Deadwind Pass. So yeah, a Guardian Tearspall, used it against her, threw her soul in there. And Dark Riders took it and put it behind Karazhan. Now what's really cool about this, I can actually say this because they give us information. One of the things about this scythe is while you're doing your rotation, every time you kill something, you get a 10% damage buff, you get mana back, and something else, like move speed buff or something.
Yeah, they said you're going to get bonuses whenever things die around it because you're harvesting the souls.
Yeah, but that's not the cool part. Well, it is a cool part, but it's not the cool part. The cool part is what happens when you're on one target for long enough.
Yeah, if you haven't harvested enough souls, apparently what'll happen is a soul will try to escape, and then I'm assuming you probably just DPS that soul slightly or something.
Yeah, and it returns 10% mana, and they haven't...
It literally gives you the buff.
Yeah, it's really cool. So basically, it completely changes your rotation.
And that I can completely get behind, because Affliction was super boring for me whenever I played it last.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to give it some much-needed, little bit more dynamic.
Yeah, plus it fucking looks badass. So
yeah, I mean, it's a scythe on a warlock. I mean, who didn't do that quest in Felwood just for the scythe?
Exactly. So then next we get Demonology, and we get the Skull of the Minari. So
yeah,
some Eridar were like, hey, we're going to start summoning demons. And, Archimond, when he was still, a good guy, beat the shit out of a Eridar who did that. Eridar who were turned demons, or technically Minari. And so he took the guy's skull, put gold on it, and, use it as a warning. Now a Dreadlord uses it, just to make him a stronger summoner and stuff. So Warlocks go ahead and they take it, and they become stronger summoners.
Now, surprisingly enough, the Dreadlord Mephistroth uses it.
Yeah.
That is the same person who did something with one of the other ones that I was talking about, actually.
He's a high-ranking guy, yeah.
That is really sweet.
He is, quote, a horrifically powerful Dreadlord. Oh! No, he's third in the ranks of the Nazrim. He did in Warcraft 3. That's right.
That's right, and actually, Mephistroth is actually the one that currently has the Fangs of the Devourer as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sorry, he had them originally, I should say, sorry.
What did he do?
He crafted the Fangs.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in Warcraft 3, I believe he, talks about how Lich King's evil and we can't trust him, or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he did. Now I have to go play Warcraft 3 again. Thank you.
And then Destruction get a scepter that was crafted for Sargeras himself. It could rip open dimensional gateways between worlds. It has been entombed under the sea for centuries. And then a certain orc shaman used it. Yeah. No, okay, sorry. Yeah, Ner'zhul used it to open the portals that eventually tore Draenor apart in War 2. And then, the Karen Tor were like, no, we can't let anyone have this. So they hid it.
Yes. They most definitely did steal it and take it and just say no. It actually doesn't say where they put it.
I'd
assume Violet Hold, though.
Oh, yeah, and maybe, with Evanshill.
That could be where it is.
There it is. Yeah, they have extra art for that, and it looks so fucking badass.
Yeah, this is a really sweet staff.
So that is our favorite artifacts. So let's talk about what they can actually do.
There's a lot. There's a lot they can do.
So we know they'll give abilities that will, go into your rotations, and you get a talent tree, and the talent tree is branching, so it's kind of like the old school talent tree, but not quite, because you eventually get everything.
Yes, and they said it will take months for you to fill out the entire tree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's going at a fairly, moderate pace. I'm pretty sure that if you're someone that's, really grinding, you can probably do it in a little less than 3 months' time, but we'll have to actually get in the beta and see.
Yeah, we don't know how it's going to be capped, which we know it's going to be. So, so there's going to be lots of talents that give, baseline abilities. Like, one of the passive ones they showed is, increase the critical strike chance of your unstable affliction by 8% at rank 3. So, basic stuff if you played before.
Free stats are good.
Yeah. So then there's also, major traits, which will actually go into your rotation, maybe. Here's one that they showed, which was Unleash the Harvest. It deals 1,400 shot damage every 3 seconds for 40 seconds. It's a bigger dot. And each time it deals damage, it increases the damage frequency by 6.66%. Yeah, see what they did there.
I see what they did there.
So it starts at 3 seconds, and it'll be a little bit less, until eventually, it's going almost every couple, half second or...
That seems like a really, really strong thing to have. Imagine that.
Yeah, and they said they want it to be like a really strong dot. And that's the one they showed here. I think they showed another one. Did they? No. Well, another one they have is like the Divine Storm now also does something, but on top of that, you get that, but now there's also, they got their own little sockets, which you get these items, they're basically gems, and you throw them in your weapon. And my understanding is it's based on spell school.
Yeah, it looks that way, yeah. Like each spell school is going to have something, and you'll be able to kind of mix and match them according to the specific artifact you have.
Mm-hmm. So, for instance, it'll do like, all of them will give you item levels, but on top of that, it'll also, like, add a rank to one of your abilities, or, like an extra bonus, rank into one of the traits, I'm sorry. So, for instance, the one that gave 8% before now gives 10% extra crit. Or, it'll do more damage on this, or stuff like that. They didn't really go into a lot of detail, but it's basically just weapon progression.
Yep, and I mean, they have to give us something to progress with at this point, and it would make no sense at all just to be like, here, have one new talent, where here they can give us a bunch of things, and they can add more throughout the expansion if they want to. They have plenty of room to work with it. It's really good design-wise.
Mm-hmm. So then at 110, you upgrade your artifact, you get a new skin, and you also get your third relic slot, because you start with 2 of the little gems, and you get a third one.
Yes.
And, yeah, they said the way you get extra models and stuff is, there are lots of things. It could be through quest lines, basically achievements, doing stuff that's based around the lore of the character, like killing its previous owner they gave an example of, or stuff like that.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff to run around and do in the world. It looks like they have not left out artifacts at all, which is great.
Mm-hmm. So, tell us a little bit about class halls.
Well, class halls. Class halls are your new sort of garrison type thing. I'm very hesitant to even use that word, but it's kind of what it is. It's strongly based on your class. Imagine that. Other characters of your class, NPCs and player characters, of course, will actually all be there. Everybody's there for the same goal of stopping the Legion. faction doesn't matter. From what they said, still no cross-faction communication. Imagine that. But supposedly right now, demon hunters in the alpha, I guess is what they would be in right now, can actually communicate with each other in demonic, which is pretty sweet. They said that probably won't make it to live, but they're enjoying it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Druids, they only didn't really give us much information about where each thing's going to be because they said they'd be there for hours, and imagine that. It's like there's, 12 classes now or something.
Yeah.
They did say that Druids get this place called the Dream Grove, which is sort of half in the dream, half out of the dream. It's like very, very, very much, a wonderful gray area, and it's a Druid paradise. It's Druids only, nobody else can get in there. I don't think they can even see it. And you get to do really cool stuff in your class hall, like your artifact weapon. You get to go in there, and anytime you're going to do anything to your artifact weapon, it'll be there in your class hall, because it's your base of operations. So if you want to change out points on your artifact, you go there. You want to swap the look of it, you go there. Then very important class figures. Your big class champions. I think the examples they had were, Lady Leandrin?
Yeah.
And the leader of the Black Harvest, whoever that guy is.
His
they'll be
name
there.
was...
I forget his name. I remember it because I remember doing Warlock quests. And,
it's Riston Flameskull?
Yeah, Riston sounds very familiar. I'm pretty sure I've seen that name. But there's some really cool stuff there. You're going to have a scouting map, which is basically your garrison table, except it's just for you to go and find your daily quests, things like that. I'm sorry, your optional quests that are on a daily lockout.
Your weekly daily quests.
Yes. There's going to be class quests in there. They said something like, potentially demon hunting. For rogue pickpocketing. Yes! I love pickpocketing. I'm not kidding. I love it.
Yeah. You spent how long doing that the other day?
I was watching a movie and pickpocketing for you in Elvers, actually. So
yeah.
Don't get too excited. There's going to be features and bonuses. Things to show off there, apparently, too. Like, there's going to be armor stands where you can show off the tier sets you've gotten. And there's going to be interesting ways to get to and from each area. Everyone's getting some sort of sort of like a death gate, but it's going to be class specific. I believe hunters it says a giant eagle to fly them there.
They actually said that's one of the bonuses hunters get. You're right, though. Yeah, an eagle comes and picks you up suddenly. But
yes.
They get special bonuses, like the hunters, their flight pass, they have hunter-specific flight paths on eagles.
Oh,
we get
so
to
hunters
Lord of the
get
Rings it. Yeah.
Oh, so not fair.
You're making us rangers, man.
Druids get something called a dream weight, lets them get places quicker, which is super cool. The thing I know that Pickles is super stoked about is that warrior arena.
Yeah.
That's really neat. The only places that you'll want to be AFKing, of course, are going to either be Class Hall or Dalaran. Dalaran will have
2 places.
Yes, 2 places this time instead of just 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they have confirmed that we are going to have auction houses and banks and such in Dalaran, thank goodness. I'd hate to go to a different expansions area just to do that. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, and at least, hopefully it's better than Ashran was, where it's like, you have to leave your garrison, go to Ashran.
We know very well that Ashran was a massive failure.
They don't like Ashran. And
yes.
Then, yeah, like you said, every class gets a Death Gate ability.
Yes.
So.
Yes, hunters get picked up by a bird. I believe they said that mages will probably just have a teleport. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And, I can only assume that locks are just going to get a portal that rips them through time to their class hall, which, from what I remember from back at Gamescom, is actually like Mardoom. Like, they're going there.
That's Demon Hunters.
Well, locks are going somewhere too. That's in the
locks are going where the Dread Seats come from, if I remember.
Oh, that's right, that world. Okay.
Yeah.
They are different names. Damn it.
Yeah, you gotta remember all your demon names.
This is true.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Class Hall still. They're cool. I love the fact that there's class champions there. They said there's gonna be every fantasy of your class. So, for example, for Warrior, you're gonna see everything from a raging barbarian with a huge-ass sword to a very professional, war veteran with a sword and board. So, it's going to be
hopefully
really cool.
He literally has, like, a wooden sword and, like, a plank of wood.
Yeah, I've killed 700 people with this.
That would be a truly badass warrior I would not want to mess with.
So, yeah, I mean, they didn't, again, they gave us some basic information. It still feels like they're holding back because they're not sure what might get cut still.
And that's honestly the safest play because the internet
Oh, yeah.
overreacts to everything.
Yeah. We don't want them to be like, yeah, there's also a dance studio.
Someone did mention that they're pretty sure the dance studio is actually located beneath Terrace Fall Glades.
Yeah, with the old god down there. So
Yes. Yeah, the things they let out in that Q&A were absolutely excellent. And then there were a couple of responses that just made me go, why'd you even answer, bro?
To be fair, we've known there's an old guy down there.
Yes.
Yeah, so Demon Hunter. Oh my god. So we learned a lot about Havoc and very, very little about Vengeance.
Yeah, and that definitely comes with the fact that they said Vengeance, just they're not ready to show us yet.
Yeah. They gave us some details on it, but so overall, you're gonna fight fire with fire. Use leather and usually no shirt. They said that. I'm not exactly sure what they meant. Like, I mean, I don't know if like your tier set's actually gonna make you shirtless or not. Is what I mean.
I mean, I would hope so. The tattoos look amazing.
Yeah, maybe just it's new tattoos every time. You take the enemy weapons and use it. Right here on my notes, I say chaos and rock hard abs.
That is actually what your notes say. You are correct.
Yeah. I don't know why I put that, but no, they said they're going to be really customizable. You're going to be able to choose your horns, your blindfolds, the tattoos, your skin textures, and they also have a new voiceover, and that's on top of every other normal bit of customization.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be cool. I am going to spend way more time than I should. Thank God we get early access.
Yes, thank goodness.
So, Havoc. Fast-paced, fire. You have Fury. You generate it with attacks. You use it on big attacks. It's literally Purple Rage. Except, I mean, I think you get it faster.
Is this like Chocolate Rain, Purple Rage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure you get it faster because, for instance, one of their abilities they showed was Demon Bite. It's just your generic, generator. It had no cooldown, and it generated 15 to 25 randomly between it.
Mm-hmm.
And it deals a little bit of damage, physical damage. Then you have Chaos Strike, and I was right, by the way. You do chaos damage.
That's excellent.
So it takes 40 Fury, but if you crit, it doesn't consume any Fury.
I wonder if Demon Hunters are going to like crit.
I think they'll like haste, too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting. And then they have, they showed Throw Glaive, which you throw your glaive out, and it can hit a main target and then ricochet 2 extra enemies. It has no minimum range, 10-second cooldown, and it's just an AoE. It's pretty cool. They showed a Blade Dance ability, which looks really cool. It might become a core ability. Right now it's a talent.
Yeah, they said they like it so much in just the core gameplay at this point. Like, they're always using it, and I think their mentality now is that if you would almost always use it, it should just be a core ability because you're just always going to pick it.
Yeah. And we'll get to that when we get to talk about talents, too, because talents getting an overhaul, too. Man, I'm just now realizing just how packed that one little panel was.
It was an incredibly informational hour.
Oh, yeah. So, mobility. Oh, my God. I am so excited.
Double jump.
Double jump and glide. Well, double jump is normal. Glide is you just reduce your fall speed. But you don't have to push a button. You hit your space bar.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you can do it while falling. And then they also have Vengeful Retreat, which you jump backwards. It's kind of like Disengage. It doesn't go as far, it looks like. But it also does damage, and a decent amount of damage, too. They made it very clear they want that to be part of your rotation. There's also Fell Rush. You rush forward, and you do a lot of fire damage on your way forward.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fire damage. Like, comparing the damage here, that Chaos Strike did a base of 25k, and that's supposed to be one of your biggest abilities, and this Fell Rush does 28k. So...
Yes, it does have a cooldown, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. 10 seconds. Dash all over the place. But they made it very clear also that you don't need a target.
That's a very interesting thing to say, too.
Yeah, it's a skill shot.
Oh no, skill shots. Watch this, guys. Demon Hunter. Most skill cap class ever.
I hope so, but I mean, there's a lot of bad Demon Hunters out there.
Oh, it'd just be like Death Knights. It'd be okay.
And then they got into Fell Magics, which was, it was alright. I mean, it's what you expect. Chaos Nova, you explode around you, stuns everything for a long time.
Yeah, 5 seconds is an eternity.
Yeah, 5 seconds. And then you got I-Beam, which I think they said it's a 3-second cast and you can't move during it.
It's a channel, yes.
Yeah, you can turn, but you can't move. And you actually turn into your demon form. That's the thing about all the Fell Magic. You turn into your demon form for a moment.
Pew, 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 pew.
But, it does. Okay, so I was telling you the other abilities were like 25. It's a 75k damage.
Yes, apparently I-Beam is absurdly powerful. I mean, in the video they saw with the gameplay, they pulled 3 mobs and just destroyed them with I-Beam.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. I hope it stays strong because you can't move and your mobility is your biggest thing. And then they have their interrupt. It's 20-yard range, medium range, and if you interrupt, you get maximum fury. So
that seems a little broken.
Well, we don't know how fury works just yet.
This is true, we don't.
Yeah, because it looks like you can build full fury in 4 globals. So,
oh wow, I guess it actually won't be too crazy then.
Yeah, and then Metamorphosis. It actually does damage when you do it. It's kind of like Illidan in Huts. Does damage. It stuns everything around you, and when you land, you're a demon for 30 seconds. You gain 100% life leech and greatly empower your attacks.
Yeah, so basically it sounds like you've literally popped Illidan's ult.
Mm-hmm. So you get extreme survivability through offense, so that's pretty cool. And then finally, Spectral Sight. It's just cool.
You get to see enemies and treasure through walls, invisible or not. They said that there was a snare originally whenever you used it. They've removed that at this point because they realized that it would be kind of unusable. And it looks really, really cool whenever they do it because everything kind of like fades to gray and you just see like these red outlines of people on the other side of walls. It's really sweet.
And you see fire around everything, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vengeance. They didn't have much to show. They said it's going to be kind of like a demonic inquisitor. You get your spells by ripping secrets from demons. Metamorphosis is going to be a defensive cooldown, not offensive. They don't want it to be offensive at all. And apparently Metamorphosis, while they say that, it lends itself very well to modification talents. So
I'll rip the secrets from your flesh.
Yeah, naughty secrets.
Yes.
So they look really cool. I need to play one in action though before I pass more judgment. But oh man, I want to play it so bad.
Yes, Vengeance. I'm sure once we actually get to see it, we'll all be very impressed because they said that you're going to get a lot of super strong, a lot of like protection spells that I guess you're learning because you're killing things, and
yeah, it
seems really interesting to me. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and they also said you're also going to get protection spells for allies too.
Yes, that's excellent because the biggest issue I've had when I'm running around on, say, my Paladin is that I can throw somebody a Sacred Shield, or I can throw somebody, a Word of Glory, and that's great because I can help out there. My Monk, I can do, I can taunt things off of them, I guess, but like maybe use like Chi Burst, Kamehameha Wave. I was really hoping there'd be something there for the Demon Hunter as well. It looks like they're getting something as well, which is great.
Yeah, really cool. So, why don't you tell us about their 3 big words about class changes?
Well, the biggest thing they want to push for class changes is they want them to be immersive, distinctive, and they want you to feel empowered once you get there, once you're playing that class. The biggest thing that kills immersion is whenever something just doesn't feel right. The biggest thing that kills it for me is whenever everything feels the same. Like, for instance, for me, a lot of the rogue things I did just felt really similar. And then, empowering. I mean, you have to feel like you're relatively strong. I mean, you don't want to be busted broken, but, you also don't want to be... You never want to feel weak.
Yeah.
And there have been multiple times this expansion where I felt super weak as a Windwalker monk.
I believe their wording for it was something along the lines of, you need to feel like you're in control of your character.
Yes, most definitely. And the biggest thing they mentioned here was, like, the things they're super just non-empowering at all, is, for instance, the DK rune system, which if you screwed up sometimes, which it's very easy to do when you're playing that class, you just do no damage until you were able to fix it, forever away. And, you just feel completely lost because you messed up once. So they said they'd be doing a complete rework on DK runes. I can't wait to see how that looks. There's only going to be one type of rune, so I guess we'll see what that looks like then. The other thing they said was really non-empowering were Fury Warrior abilities, mainly because everything had charges. You had to do... I forget what the ability was with Whirlwind. You'd get, like, Meat Cleaver or something, and you had to have charges for that to be effective, and when you got enraged, you only got 2 charges of Raging Blow, but you were enraged.
You got 1 charge. You got 1 charge of Raging Blow, and Whirlwind would give you Meat Cleaver, which boosts your Raging Blow to be AoE.
Yes, and it's just like, wait, I gotta stack all these buffs.
And I
just want to hit things.
Pray to God for crits.
Yes, so, they said they didn't really like that, so basically anything where you had to specifically watch for a buff to be, to actually be effective, they found ways to either integrate that in a little bit better so it's not as RNG, and not so much that you're depending purely on seeing that buff to be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 100% behind that. On that topic, they've taken Arcane Mage Mastery, which anyone who plays Arcane hates that mastery. It's boring. You never see it.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. It's not very intuitive. So you're getting something called Savant, which apparently actually will increase the amount of mana they get. I'm like, okay, this seems cool. So whenever we actually get to see that in action, I'm sure it'll be great. But they said it's going to be more of a resource. Like, you're basically just never going to be able to go if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a great thing.
If you play decently well, because how their new mastery works.
Yes, as arcane charges are a resource.
Yeah, well, they still have mana, but the arcane... I think what it is kind of like how Demonic Fury works right now, where it builds up that way, and then you spend all your resource, and you build it up, and you spend it all like that.
That makes much more sense. You control when you actually want to do things.
Yeah, so you still get the, arcane charges, which still drain more mana, but now you don't have to play at super high mana because, and your mastery gives you more mana and increases how strong your charges are.
Mm-hmm. Then there's things about being more distinct. The wonderful things about being more distinct is you can have a couple of classes that, honestly, you can tell me playing Hunter. How many times playing Hunter did you just go, man, this kind of feels the same? Or, this really isn't all that different. I know for a fact you had times where you were sitting there going, man, this is boring. I want to play a different spec.
Yeah, and then I would play a different spec, and you know what happens?
It was still the same?
Basically.
Yeah, so the nice thing is Survival's going melee. Hooray! You knew that, though.
Whoa, where's my little tiny flag?
Oh, I know, right? The coolest thing about that is Survival's going melee, which is wonderful. And they said it's going to be like vanilla, but actually good this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see it. And I love the idea, if anybody played Rift, the Beastmaster Warrior class, that role was amazing because you were side by side with your cat, typically, and you destroyed things, and you felt like you were He-Man with that cat that He-Man had. It was great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely going to be a very different feel from I'm standing back here shooting things with my bow, so...
Oh, yeah. And we'll see how it works, like if we'll actually be able to play it for all those hunters out there.
Yes. Lots of hunters going, I don't know.
But we'll see.
Disc Priest. So the coolest thing about Disc Priest is that it's always felt like Holy Priest. Like, that's not cool. It's not cool at all. Disc Priest has always been the Absorb healer, and I think the most fun anybody's ever had playing a Disc Priest was whenever we could Atonement heal during Siege of Orgrimmar, and that whole expansion. And they said that, honestly, they're going to double down on Atonement. They're damage-dealing healers. That's pretty much all the healing they're going to be able to do. It's going to be interesting to see how they make that work, because there's going to be a lot... they obviously can't do fights where, you just have to avoid AoE, or maybe it's just, a Disc Priest is a niche now, which I'm sure is okay.
Yeah.
But I'm totally cool with that, because there definitely needs to be some variety there, and Holy and Disc I loved Holy. I hated playing Disc. I hated Disc so much. I loved Holy, but Holy wasn't efficient, so I'm sure they're going to buff Holy, because they love to buff Holy.
Yeah. Hopefully, because right now, if the only way is, DPS healing for priests, that won't go well, but...
Yes, that's definitely going to be awful, and there's going to be a lot of very angry holy priests.
Yeah.
And the only thing that makes me happier than hearing survival gets to go melee is that sub-rogue is getting a complete rework.
And I gotta admit, like, some of the abilities they talked about sound really cool.
Yes, I mean, they're taking Shadow Dance and they're remaking it. Each time you do a finishing move, you have a chance to go into stealth, or you will go into stealth. They didn't really say. And
I
that
think
stealth
they said
won't.
20% chance.
Yes, and the stealth won't break from taking damage, so AoE on boss fights won't screw you over. And, oh man, this is going to be great, because there's this thing called Shadow Strike, and it lets you teleport to a target and ambushes them. Generic rogue abilities, gone. This spec's completely unique.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked about that, because the one complaint I've had all expansion was that Assassination and Sub, although they are very different gameplay-wise, don't look any different.
And they feel the same.
They really do. Like, you know, the only thing I really had to do when I was playing Sub was I had to manage Shadow Dance. That's the only real thing I noticed as a difference between that and Assassination. Granted, there's a couple mechanical things there, but realistically, I just had to make sure I had stuff up for Shadow Dance. Ugh. Not fun. This looks amazing. I'm going to be a ninja.
And you like being a ninja.
Ninjas are cool.
Then, immersion. Do you want to talk about it, or you want
Sure, immersion. So classes need to be immersive. You need to feel as though you are that character, that you fully understand what they're doing, that everything that they do makes sense for you. They said that the one thing the warlocks have gotten away from is doing things with their pet. And when I think about it, I can't remember a time where I really gave a shit about my pet as a warlock. It's
BC,
been a while.
Yeah, BC, like in T5 rating, whenever I got the that trinket and you get to actually use your Felguard, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was about it. I mean, the rest of the time, though, in bulk of BC, you were like, well, I'm going to sack my Succubus, spam Shadow Bolt. You go to the Lich King. Well, guess what? Sacked your pet, spam Shadow Bolt. You went to Cataclysm, and I didn't play Lock then, but I know it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was better later, but initially it was pretty bad. And then in Pandaria, you had your pets, but for the most part, still sack your pet and shoot things.
Mm-hmm.
So they said they want to get back to the Demonology Warlock being that one that summons demons. And with that, not only do they get to keep the ones we have, they're giving us more.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cough.
I believe they said more demons than we've ever seen, and just the fact that summoning is going to be a big deal.
Thought I died there. I'm good.
Are you okay? Okay.
Yeah, allergies. So one thing they did say is that bear druids do not feel immersive at all. And here's why. Big bear. Have you ever seen bears dance?
Yes, I have a mount that is a dancing bear, actually.
Okay, have you ever seen a bear in the wild dance?
I saw one at the circus. Does that count?
Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. So for the most part, a grizzly bear is not going to go get up on its hind legs and dance around. Bears typically aren't too agile and graceful. If you ever watch pandas, you understand. But that's another topic.
Plus, if you start swinging a sword at a bear, I don't think it'd jump out of the way.
Yeah, I highly doubt that bear's going to be able to dodge that. And so they said they realized that, bear druid should be an absolutely massive wall of fur, flesh, and bone.
And
it needs
claws.
to be... And what?
And claws.
Yes, and claws. Claws are super important.
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't want this to be a dodge bot anymore. It's silly. And realistically, it's very silly. So what they're going to be doing now is they're going to be the survivability tank. Increased health and armor. Massive survivability. Circus bears are out the window. Literally, the meat sack is back. And I'm totally fine with that because every tank needs to be distinctive. And honestly, I see a bear just going, getting smacked, roaring, getting pissed off, and just destroying whatever is in front of them because it makes them even more angry. So I'm completely okay with that.
So I want to talk about Shadow Priest because...
You totally can, because this is amazing and I can't contain myself.
I used to be a Shadow Priest way back in the day. I've always loved Shadow Priest. But with their they've always felt like Affliction Warlocks, the poor man's Affliction Warlock. And that's true. They really have. But now they're all about the Void. And you know what controls the Void? And what's in the Void?
Oh, I think this thing called Yogg Saron once told me something about it.
It's the old gods.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
It's driving me insane.
So yeah, your character, your resource will be you going insane. And so as you go insane, your shadow form gets darker and darker until eventually it turns into the void form. And once you're void form, you get, quote, extreme power. And your insanity starts draining because your mortal mind is not meant for this. So you have to keep trying to generate it, and while you're getting this extra power. And I think the longer you stay in the form, the more your damage goes up. And it might last longer as you get more gear, of course, because of haste and such. But it's not going to last too long. Even still, that is so cool. I love that so much.
Extreme fleeting power is how they put it. The other cool thing is that as you get closer and closer to being overtaken by the void, you're going to grow tentacles.
Yeah.
And it's going to get crazy. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be sweet.
And shadow orbs are gone. I'm so glad. I thought they were really
thank
weird.
God.
Yeah, I thought they were really weird.
Yes, most definitely.
Then finally, talents. So how it is now is every row you have the theme. Like for instance, the hunter first row I think is mobility. So it's all around disengage. They're getting rid of those kind of themes, so it's not just going to be like a CC row or an AoE roll. It's just going to be 3 really good choices.
Yeah, it's super boring right now because, like in the case of Monk, you've got Tiger's Lust, Momentum, and whatever the other one is. I don't remember. But either way, super boring because there's always one that's almost always the best choice, and you're just always going to pick that one.
And, yes, they want the choices to matter more, which means there's going to be, and I quote, hundreds of new talents.
That is one of those things that makes me go, are you sure you want to say that?
We'll see. But they do say there's also going to be more specific. They don't want, for instance, if you play a hunter, the talents are exactly the same between all 3 specs except for one, which is Lone Wolf and Adaptation.
Yes.
And other than that, we'll know more about classes tomorrow. I don't know if we'll do another episode of this in time, or if we'll wait until our normal scheduled time. What is our normal scheduled time?
We don't have a normal scheduled time. We're just crazy like that.
So yeah, we'll see. We might talk about it next time. We might not. Depends on how soon after. Unless we see something we really want to talk about, which we might.
That's definitely a possibility. It most definitely could happen.
So next they had a guy come in and talk about professions. And I actually had trouble fully understanding him. For a little bit.
What was he talking about?
Professions?
Oh, the profession guy. Yeah, I actually understood most of what he said.
Well, they don't want you to be held back anymore, so I think that means they're getting rid of all the daily things.
Yes, they said they're going to be cutting away from the idea of these limited resources to make things.
Yeah.
And get more along the lines of, they want you to be able to get things want you to be able to obtain things a little quicker, and be able to use them quicker, but maybe not as efficiently.
Yeah. And then also, you can't learn everything from a trainer. That's how it's been forever, but I think it's to a more extreme, where you actually have to get out there to learn a lot of the recipes.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like you're going to have to go and say, all right, well, I got my basic stuff from my trainer, and now he said go out, search the world, and find those patterns.
Yeah, and I think some of the examples he gave was tailors go to a Nightfallen.
Yeah, he said something about Nightfallen, yes.
Yeah, you do a quest chain around them that's supposed to be kind of interesting. Miners can learn things too. Miners learn from a dead moose torn. I put learn from a dead moose. I thought it was hilarious at the time, and now I'm looking and going, wow, that was cheesy. And apparently mining and herb nodes will be shared?
Yes.
They didn't really go into detail, but...
They said something about gathering being a little closer together. I didn't really catch that either. I'll have to rewatch it. But there's going to be something about those being maybe a little closer to each other. Maybe you can get both from them? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I know they said like multiple people can take the same one, but I don't know if that means like after one person mines it, like it stays there for like say a minute, or if it just stays there forever and you can just come back after a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works on the beta because it was worded weird.
Yeah, they're looking to do a lot of very ambitious things in the beta, which is great. It's just we have to see what they actually do before we can find out what on earth it is.
They talked about how every recipe is going to have ranks to it, between 1 to 3 stars. You get the 1 star, which you can just kind of do, but it's not very efficient, and you upgrade it. It had examples of like it's cheaper or it crafts faster, which is a weird thing to speed up.
Considering most of the time your crafting is maybe 30 seconds at most for something like in the old world.
There's a new UI for crafting.
That is amazing.
God, and it's nice too. I mean, it's not like super fancy, but it's more like the quest log. I like it.
Yeah, actually, the UI I saw from there reminds me a lot of whenever I had Trade Skill Master.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fairly similar to that sort of setup. You know, you can actually assign favorites to it, and you can, probably search it a little better.
Yeah. And there's going to be a favorites list talking about searching.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, God knows we only ever really make bags as tailors, so it'll be great to be able just to open it up and always have that on top for us.
Mm-hmm. We talked about favorites, you said bags, and then...
I was about to ask you, what is your favorite thing? It's in all caps right below that.
The Unlearned tab! Oh my God, that... As a, everything, every time I go in there, I'm like, oh my God, what do I need to learn? Where do I learn it? And then, now I can just click the Unlearned tab.
It'll be great. It's kind of like, the battle pets you don't have. You can find out where on earth you get them.
Mm-hmm. They talked about how, like, for instance, if you're making a ring, it will have, like, the random stats on it. So you keep making them until you get the one you want. And then you can now take the ones that you didn't want, and after you do a quest line, you can go to the Obliteratum,
whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically disenchanting for crafted items. You get a crafting thing called Obliteratum, and you can use that to upgrade crafted items. So, yeah, pretty fancy.
Yeah.
That's literally what I had as my next note. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I laughed.
Did not mean to do that. They made a point of crafting at your own pace. This is what's really cool. Okay, they talked about some of the crafting items, right? And, some of the examples they gave was a fucking gun mounted on a helmet.
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
It's literally okay, here's what it reads. Fires a bullet at your current target as the use. That's the new goggles. Well, it's not goggles. They have normal goggles now, too, but... Oh, sorry, no. I'm looking at the necklace. Okay, so they said necklaces. They might have also said other... Might have said rings, too.
I believe they said crafted jewel crafting items will now actually have a gem socket.
Yeah, and they will sometimes have, necklaces especially, that's what they showed, will have, like, class-specific things. Like, for instance, this right here says, increases run speed by 15% when enraged.
Yes, that's very interesting. That means they can actually do quite a few goofy things. They can give us, interesting boosts through that, and also make those items super desirable early on.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. Well, you're the inscriptionist here. Why don't you tell us about inscription?
Well, sir, I'm a scribe. Inscriptionist is not a word. But the cool thing about a scribe right now is that we have nothing to make for anyone. And they've actually said that really looking into everything, major glyphs really don't serve a purpose anymore.
Mhm.
Because there's literally a set number of ones that you actually use, and the rest you forget about. So major glyphs
Yeah.
are going away.
Well, plus there's so much customization elsewhere with the artifacts and the talents. And...
Exactly. It kind of defeats the purpose now, so they're going to be getting rid of those.
Oh
There's
my
still minor.
god.
There's still going to be minor glyphs. Minor glyphs are actually going to be things that you would actually go and you would take minor glyph, you would craft it, and then you would actually apply it directly to the spell in your spellbook, which is a
Apply directly to
super
the forehead.
odd thing. Yes. Head on, apply directly to the forehead. We'll be charging you for the advertisement when we finally figure out who makes you. But yes, one glyph per spell, but you can actually glyph any number of minor glyphs onto, your spells. One per, but as many different minor glyphs as you want to add to your spells, go for it.
Which is great. We're not limited to 3 anymore. Oh my god.
I know, we can do so many goofy things. The other cool thing there is that that's going to give us an actual consumable again, because some people will want to change things out. I know for, in my case, I don't always want the same polymorph on my mage, so I swap them around all the time. So, at the very least, I'll be able to sell those next X pack, which is great.
Yeah.
The other thing is they're going to be giving us super specific things. Super specific, buff runes. Looks like they're called Vantis runes. I don't know if Vantis is the raid boss or if that's what it is.
No, Vantis is just the name of the rune.
Okay. It's a week-long buff against a specific boss. And you can only use one of those per week. So I would assume then that, hey, I'm the, say we're stuck on this boss. All right, everybody get this rune. Someone in our guild can make them for us. Let's do that. Let's get them all together. Let's go fight this boss. Let's get it down.
You get 10% more damage.
10% more damage. Maybe you take 10% less. Who knows? It can do all kinds of goofy things with it. But that'll be great. It'll give us another consumable to look at as a potential way to make money as a tribe, which right now there's pretty much nothing.
Yeah. So then they talked about secondary professions. They talked about archaeology. You're going to be doing a quest line all across the world, and they said they were going to mostly aim for giving you usable items instead of just kind of, this looks pretty. Two of the examples they show is the Eye of Undravis.
Yeah, I saw that too. That looks really cool. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for, though.
You peer through the eye to see a world where the demons won the war of the ancients.
That is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah. Starlight Beacon, you draw an outline of the Starlight Field, and then players inside it can fly.
That is interesting.
And that's all they said.
Oh, okay.
So cooking. What'd they say about cooking?
I want to yell at there's people in my house. The only thing nerds on the internet care about starts with a B, ends with an N. That's right, guys. Bacon.
Oh man, I'm reading the benefits. It's actually really good. It extends the benefit of any well-fed buff from the Broken Isles by 1 hour, up to a maximum of 6 hours.
What?
That's pretty cool.
So by adding bacon to your food, your buffs last longer.
Yeah, up to 6 strips.
That... This is the greatest day in the history of World of Warcraft. Oh my goodness.
So then they talked about fishing.
They said they want fishing to be engaging and not something that you just have up and while you have a movie up on the other monitor.
I was totally going to make a joke where I just had a couple seconds of silence and then skip over it. They said nothing about fishing.
That's literally what they said is that fishing most of the time is you sitting there watching a movie and they want to do something else. So
yeah. So then they talked about first aid, and apparently there's going to be new bandages. Oh, shit.
Woo, you can see me spinning the party thing in the air, whatever the hell those things are called.
It's great because it says lots of exciting new bandage-related content. So anyway.
That was definitely some guy being sarcastic.
Okay, so this is actually one of the most important things we learned today.
Yeah,
Not the most important thing comes in a minute. But the second most important thing is we're talking about exciting items. And they showed the freezing brand. When you're struck, it can deal damage and it slows them. Or the Cloudkeeper leg plates increases attack power. Or the Cloak of Flames deals 4 damage to anyone who strikes with melee. And so then they popped out the legendaries.
Yes, the legendaries.
Oh my god.
I honestly thought they were trolling me for a minute, and then I realized they were serious.
So, they said basically these going to be drops, kind of. You get them out in the world anywhere. Well, not out in the world. You get them anywhere. They're going to be relatively rare. And they said something that before they showed the actual things, I didn't actually understand what they meant. They want the power to stay relevant throughout the expansion. From day one that you get it to the end. And when I heard that, I was like, well, I mean, I guess. But then they actually showed the abilities.
And they are insane.
Here, I will link you the abilities in Skype, so you can take the outer ones. I want to take the mid one. The one in the middle is fucking insane.
Yeah, I saw that and I was just like, wait, what? Are they absurd? Like,
So,
lost their mind.
Yeah, this is subject to change. It would work on any class because you can use agility, strength, or intellect, but it switches off. The effect, that's all it is just agility and then stamina. Your damage over time effects have a chance to trigger their full remaining value each time they deal damage or heal.
Huh. Now I look at that and the first thing that goes through my head is, this is a joke, right? That seems broken.
And then they said, and then this one. They threw up another. Which one did they throw up?
I believe they threw up the Pauldrons of the Golden Valkyr. Which, it's funny that it says Pauldrons of the Golden Valkyr, and they're actually feet.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
But the cool thing there is they have an equip that's strength and stamina, 493 armor, not that anybody cares. The equip effect, it's required for a class of Paladin. Every enemy hit by a Avenger reduces the cooldown of Guard of Ancient Kings by 4 seconds. Now that sounds like a 4-piece tier bonus.
Yeah, like, I brought up this to Kerner, who might be, well, we're 2 hours. He's out of this by now. So,
Yes.
He said that necklace, he would prefer to have that to the ring right now.
Yes.
Because of how broken that looks. So,
yeah, that with Affliction would be crazy. That as a Resto Druid sounds crazy.
Yeah,
Ugh.
then Boots of Wondrous Rapidity. It actually has haste on it, which is kind of funny. Because the effect is, your haste is increased by a portion, your speed is increased by a portion of your haste.
I can only imagine it's probably that's 2% speed or something, otherwise it'd be silly. But it could just be, it could be 10%. It could be completely insane.
Considering how strong the other effects are, I'm going to assume it's pretty strong.
Yes, and I would also like to point out that those Boots of Wondrous Rapidity are actually boots.
Yeah.
The last one here is the Mantle of Flames. It's a back piece. There's no armor, which is surprising, because normally those have armor listed. Probably just contains peanuts like the second note on it.
Yeah.
But it has an equip of all enemies within 5 yards of you suffer 5,000 fire damage per second.
Pretty good.
Now, that right there is literally what I would want on a tank when AoE tanking. So it's great.
I mean, I assume the 5,000 is going to go up, because 5,000 is kind of low, but...
Maybe it's 5,000 scaling with gear? Oh wait, that'd be busted as shit.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, yeah, they said they, it's kind of like, what I put is, it's kind of like Diablo Legendaries. It's cool effects on random slots. I hope they don't go full Diablo on it and just keep to a few of them, but we'll see what happens.
I'm sure we're going to have quite a few more. I just hope they don't become, the thing where if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to perform.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, looking at that neck piece, I don't know how you could not have that.
Yeah. They said it's not fully random how it drops, and there will be ways to target specific ones so that you get it.
Okay, so it's probably just things that you're just going to want to go and farm because you're going to want to go and farm. So at least they give us some reason to be out in the world killing specific things.
Yeah, and then they talked about all Legion items can drop with an increased item level, so it can get upgraded. But they said it will be up to the best items in the game, and there's I know some of you are worried that it'll be better than the best items in the game. No, devalue the really good items. And then he didn't say anything more about it and went to the next point.
Yes, which is kind of funny.
Duplicate personal loot can be traded. Yes!
That is the best thing we heard all weekend. Not even kidding. Best thing we heard.
No,
Actually,
no.
no, it's not. No, it's not. Not even close. What am I thinking?
We got the next thing.
Yeah, the next thing is actually the best thing. But no, duplicate personal loot is great because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten the same stupid trinket and my off tank could have used it.
Well, it really shows that they really want us to be on personal loot.
And honestly, personal loot is just, it's so good. It's such a good system. They've been buffing it. I love personal loot for running Mythic 5-mans. I have no problem bringing it to everything. If they're going to do something like that, there's no reason to use the other one.
So, okay. Then we get to the best thing. Transmog. There's a lot we already knew. We knew it was going to be Diablo style. There's going to be more customization options. It was going to be Diablo style. There's going to be a wardrobe like Diablo. You can do, once you unlock an item, you can delete it from your bags like Diablo. It's account wide like Diablo. And then they just start throwing things at us.
Yeah, and this is where the crowd started going crazy, and actually a couple points down, you start to go crazy.
Yeah. So, they have a new UI, and it looks great. It really does. You can see, I set collections here. You can see what's missing, what you need, and where you get it. You can save outfits, which as cool as it is, but you can also link the outfits to other people and give them a wish list.
Which is really sweet, because I can't tell you how many times I looked at someone and gone, man, I wish I knew what the hell they were wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can just ask and they can send it to me.
And then you can, everything that's in your bags, bank, or void storage goes into your collection.
But that's not all.
Anything that you've ever done on any quest counts.
And not just the items you got. Literally any choice you could have made to have gotten an item through a quest, those will be automatically added to your transmog.
Oh my god. So the fact that I went and I did Lore Master is going to help a lot.
Now the thing, and it's right around there at that point where you went nuts here, that the crowd, I'm pretty sure, got on their feet and were probably just chanting, "We're not worthy." Like, and everybody went fucking insane.
And it kept going. You can have different outfits for your spec, and they said you could even like hotkey outfits, but you can make it to where you change spec and it immediately changes your gear.
That's correct. They also have, you can you can save your hidden slots, like if you don't want to show your helmet or your cloak or, something like that, you don't have to.
Yeah, so his example is if you have a pirate hat, maybe in this one outfit you like the pirate hat, but in this other outfit you just don't want a helmet at all. And then the big bombshell that made everyone freak out there, you can now hide your shoulders.
I know there's a lot of people who play orcs that actually don't like the shoulders that are bigger than their bodies.
Oh my god.
That was crazy. The other sweet thing is that you can transmog weapon enchants in like you currently can in your garrison with the illusions.
Oh, it's even better because you actually get the UI for the weapon enchant, so you can see it and see how it looks.
Yes, which is awesome.
You can transmog shirts, which is pretty cool.
And the best thing ever, the thing that Skullshade and I literally I was on the phone with him and told him about it, and we squealed like fangirls, tabards, motherfucking tabards, tabard window. When I first heard that, I didn't actually care, but then I thought about it. It means you don't have to switch out tabards all the time, every time you do a transmog. And the reason that Skullshade and I are so happy about it is because we have multiple card game tabards on random characters.
Yeah.
And we now have them on all of our characters.
So, that was BlizzCon. Like I said, we'll get more class info tomorrow, but if it wasn't for the fact that we have to wait now nearly a year, I'd be a lot more amped than I am. I'm currently going to try and sell my soul to my guild leader to try and get a beta invite, if he has any to give. And I am really excited.
Yeah, my level of fanboy is through the roof right now. My level of fangirl is through the roof right now. I don't even know where I am anymore. I'm just super stoked for this expansion when we finally get there.
It's just great news after great news after great news.
It's literally everything we've been asking for an eternity. And as long as they give it to
Oh
us.
shit! You know what?
What?
We're not done.
How? We're not done?
We forgot the Q&A.
Oh God, we can't do the Q&A. We're already at 2 hours.
We'll go really quick.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna mostly read the Q&A, and if you have anything to say, just yell it out.
Where's the Q&A?
MMO Champion, first page.
Thank you.
We will find Aurelian to Aurelian. The way they view the world will change. Amazing things in store.
Yes.
It's important to sell the fantasy behind the races and classes. They want more sub-races. They want to do sub-races, but they're not sure how yet. They want to do guilds that are cross-server, but they're not sure how to do it yet. Flying will exist at launch, but it's going to be after a patch.
Oh, no, it's that the achievement will exist to get flying. And it'll, of course, be gated behind things. So, kind of like Draenor, can't fly right away.
Yeah, that's
Eventually
what I
we can complete it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's going to be like, you have to do this thing. So.
Something really super awesome. In Legion, there will be a short appearance by Bolvar Dragon.
Yeah, they're actually doing some with them. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of class quests with artifacts. That's where most of the class content's going to be.
Rather than a, green fire quest.
Yeah. Team's looking how tapping works. Oh, yeah, they want to make it to where every mob is multi-tappable, which...
Yeah, they said maybe give them, like regular mobs, maybe give them, like, a 5-person tap limit or something, so that, you can't just all run around willy-nilly and just AoE everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they'll give it where, if there's one guy in your area, you don't have to go, oh, shit, this guy's over here, I guess better go over there.
They're going to do expansions faster. They say that every time. They're liars.
Yeah. They have no idea when they would actually get to one per year. But of course, as I've always said, quality over quantity.
Yeah. This answer right here is not actually completely true, because the Tomb of Sargeras is just a monument.
For now.
Yeah, on MMO Champion just says that. No, they said very clearly, for now.
Yes.
So, that sounds like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Guilds are important, no new battlegrounds, no updating starting zones. Broken Isles, Dalaran's upgraded. They want to upgrade, or, resolve some Cataclysm stories. They're not ready to do it yet. It's only been 5 years. They need longer.
Yes.
Technology's not there.
Yeah, I mean, that park is just never going to get replaced, guys.
Keystones are standardized globally for the week, so you don't have to find someone with an easy keystone. Okay, that answers the question from earlier.
Uh-huh.
New transmog system helps with inventories. Titan's Grip is not dead, but the artifact is just too small.
Yeah, they said it will be sized up because they very much love the Titan's Grip thing being two two-handers. They very much like that.
Legion will go into the details of multiple legions versus one legion.
I.e. multiverse theory.
Yeah. One character slot, no new scenarios, but, no scenarios that you queue up for, but there is going to be a very big one.
Yes. You can pre-order, buy the Collector's Edition, and then contact customer service to get the difference back.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is a super interesting thing because that's what I will be doing.
I'm just going to wait. Probably. I don't have money right now. So, the team doesn't want Artifact to be a blocker for playing multiple specs. There will be many catch-ups in place so that your second or third weapon will be much faster. And if you take a break, you will have to decide what weapon you will use your relics on now. So relics
Which makes perfect sense.
Relics are for one, but I don't know. I still don't really like the fact that you have to redo it. I guess thematically it works really well.
Yeah, it's just, functionality-wise, it's going to be super annoying.
Hopefully I'm a demon hunter, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited, though, about the next one. It's the best news there.
Legion will let you use all specs.
That's right. You're no longer limited to just dual spec.
You know what that means, though?
What's that?
That confirms that Blizzard favors druids, and they hate demon hunters.
Oh my gosh, you're right. They just, all that leather angst.
Because look, druids get a quad spec, demon hunters only get a dual spec.
Hey, but you know what? My rogue can play all 3 specs. I'm super thrilled with that.
I'm sorry.
There was just no reason for us not to have it sooner.
Yeah.
They're just like, they flat out, the one guy with the beard, I honestly forget his name. He was like, yeah, you're getting that. He was like, yeah, if you're a druid, you can have 4. And the crowd went nuts.
Multi-strike is just crit. Yeah. Versatility, I still think is boring. They can say what they say about it. Like, even if it was super strong, I'd hate it.
Yeah, it's not interesting. Was a conversation a lot of people have had. Like, crit, you see a number change. You know, haste, you're going to see things happen faster. Your mastery, you're going to see something scale differently. It's also kind of boring, but some masters are actually exciting. Versatility is a flat buff. You never notice the difference.
Yeah. They don't want to, there to be too many account-wide things because they want an alt to be an alt. Yeah. Nothing like AQ Gate is happening. There will be invasions around that kind of will need server help, but it's not going to be that level.
Yes, they did say that Karazhan. They did say Karazhan will be relevant.
Yeah, well, we already know a lot of artifacts are going down there.
Yes, and Karazhan could very well be a 5-player dungeon in patch 7.1.
Possibly. One of the artifacts will shed some light on what's going on Tearsful. If I have to guess, I would say the Priest Dagger.
Yeah, I'd have to go with that too, because we're pretty sure it's an old god under there.
Wrathion will have some interest in Notharian's lair. Don't expect him to look the way he did.
He's probably a dragon now.
They want to make old stuff relevant again, but probably not in Legion.
Yeah, because Legion's going to focus on all new stuff, so they really do want to get old materials to kind of be relevant again, but the issue there is, how do you do that without making, everything else devalued?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a really weird thing to have to do.
Torn, Forsaken, Worgen, and maybe Gnomes will have new lore. Okay.
Maybe. But old gods are going to play some role in Legion. I'm assuming, like we said, Tearsfall Glades.
Oh, yeah. Some of the huge raids the team made in the past were awesome. Oh, yeah. So instead of like the 13, 14 boss raids, probably going to try and tear it apart and put it in the same tier. So that way you get more different environments.
I'm definitely okay with that. It's definitely nicer just to be like, all right, guys, we got to clear this raid tonight. Clear 1 6-boss raid. Then the next night go clear a 7-boss raid.
Yeah.
And it feels different.
Reforging is RIP.
Yeah, it's not coming back. It's definitely not needed anymore. I can see why people would argue for it, but at the same time, that's a massive balance issue. I mean, the math's already hard enough. There's no reason to add another factor to it.
Won't be using artifacts forever. After this expansion, they might go on your mantle.
It sounds about right. I mean, we're not keeping garrisons. We didn't keep our farm from Pandaria, so...
Difference between... I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm super excited to see is Dance Studio. Oh, wait, they still don't have the animation time for it.
Yeah.
And that's not surprising. I mean, it'd be great to have it, but that's a lot of animation for all the different models we have now.
No Vanilla Realms. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of games that have tried it too, and those are all dead. So, when I say dead, I mean super dead. And when they were talking about, old code, old hardware, old data, old bugs, yeah, it's 100% true, because if you ever tried to play, like the Magic Chandra game from back, like whenever Windows 3.1 was out, you try to play that or any game from that era, everything's clocked to your CPU speed. So the faster your CPU, the faster the game runs.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of a problem when you're talking about servers that have very specific timing and coding. So it's just, it would be a technical nightmare and it just wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, there's also some games that do that. I'm trying to think of one I played recently. But, yeah. Then, what is this? You can't transmog other items to look like your artifact. But you can transmog your artifact to look like other items.
Yeah, so if you're not a huge fan of, say, the Frost DK two swords, you can make them look like something else. If you'd rather fight around with an axe instead of a hammer or something, go for it. They're not going to stop you, and it's a good call.
Yep. Let's see. These next three are basically the same. Horde and Alliance are in the class altogether. You will have a language barrier. And also, Demon Hunters can talk to each other, which we already talked about.
Yep, they can talk in Demonic. I'm not sure if that's staying around. I wouldn't expect it to. They gave a nice, shout out and a nod to Open Raid, which is an amazing site.
Oh, yes.
They're very happy with how Group Finder worked, and they'd like to expand on it and give us other social tools to meet up, because it's a pain in the ass to do stuff, and they want to make it easier for us.
Okay, so scrolling down a little bit,
Yep.
because some of these are just kind of eh.
Yeah.
Give them strong boxes. They were talking about that, and that kind of made me go, wait. Because they're saying you will get PvP gear from strong boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they were saying earlier you don't get PvP gear. So they didn't go much into PvP. I'm really interested to understand now, because it's kind of confusing.
I think what they meant is maybe, the strong boxes that you're getting, maybe they'll just have stats that are preferred in PvP. Like maybe it'll be higher versatility gear. Maybe it'll just be...
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have, your PvP trinket if they decide to keep that. Well, that's getting rolled into the talent system, I think, for that, because there's a separate talent system for PvP now. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see about that. That's a good question.
No Mythic Flex, because that'd be stupid.
That'd be horrible.
Right now, they're keeping it at 20. They're saying that's what they think is perfect. No
I
rolls.
tend to agree with that statement.
Yeah, no tanking warlocks.
Yeah, imagine that.
Legion challenge modes, you can't, automatically matchmake it, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone hates split rating. Everyone. But they don't know how to do it.
There's really no way to get rid of it because people are still just going to do it. It's like forcing personal loot would solve it, but that isn't something that there's a lot of players who just wouldn't enjoy that. And they actually said if you have any suggestions, please send them. They want any and all feedback on it.
Yeah.
Because if somebody has that idea, they're going to take it and run with it, guaranteed.
Nefarian's going to have a class call. We already knew that.
Maybe use double jumps.
Yeah, he's saying you keep jumping constantly until you fall.
That'd be hilarious.
Melee get new animations and effects. Hopefully players will enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Oh yeah, they have built some class accessory models, but now they're just artifacts. So
yes. There was an overlap between those systems, and class accessories are still on the list, which is what's left beyond artifacts added to the class fantasy. So I'm guessing maybe things added to them with the the different styles you can get. Probably what they rolled those into.
Apparently, there's going to be a lot more voice acting than any other expansion.
Yeah, which is really great because I actually really enjoyed that because it really, really helped with the immersion in the world. When I have my noise-canceling headphones on, my door locked, and my lights off, I am in World of Warcraft, damn it.
Yeah. And finally, no, they're lying. Jaina is a Dreadlord. We all know.
Dude, it says right there clearly in plain blue text, Jaina is not a Dreadlord.
She totally is.
You know what? You're
crazy, and now she's dating an aspect. Who else would date an aspect?
Wait, she's dating an aspect?
Caligus.
Oh god, you're right. Ugh. That's gotta be interesting whenever he accidentally goes dragon.
Yeah.
And with that...
And that will be all for now. We'll be back eventually. This will probably not be up on the 7th or the 8th.
Well, it's currently the 8th, so...
Well, for you.
I'm sorry, you have 2 minutes until it's the 8th, and I don't think you can upload that fast, so...
Yeah. It probably won't be on the 8th. Hopefully I don't get it up too late, because I gotta do editing shit.
Yes, you have a lot of editing to do. Probably this part will go away, too. That being said...
You say that. I'm not professional. So anyway, see everyone later. And yeah.
Yeah, Lotus Petals out.
Whoosh.
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 Out.